Sims and Leon, your mom's favorite podcast. Trust me, I'm a mom.
What's up, Dustin?
How's it going?
Pretty good. We have a new guest. Do you want to introduce our new guest?
We do.
I guess I should ask you first. I've always known you as Steve-O, even though we haven't been really friends in about the last 25 years. Maybe longer than that. Shoot. Do you want Steve-O, Steve? I know your professional stuff says Steve.
Yeah, I go by Steve for comedy. I always say you can tell when somebody met me by what they call me. Yeah, a lot of years, there's nobody that didn't call me Steve-O, but last, several, and especially with comedy.
It's funny because so we know you through our cousin Mikey.
Mm-hmm.
And I met you when we were kids back in Benbrook, and like it wasn't like we didn't spend a long time hanging out. It was just a couple of years, because we were like tiny kids.
Yeah.
Like 8, 9 years old. We weren't even teenagers. And then he mentioned you on his Twitch stream.
Yeah.
And then he's like, Steve-O, but he was Steve-O before Steve-O was Steve-O. And I was like, oh, I know exactly what he's talking about.
Uh-huh.
Like when I texted you about it, you're like, I remember the name, but I don't really remember. It's the same thing. It's like, I kind of remembered you. And then when I saw a video of you, I was like, oh, 100% I remember you now.
Uh-huh. Yeah, same thing when I walked up here today.
Yeah, he's kind of like, even, you just look like an older version of your small self.
Right, a little 8-year-old me.
So y'all haven't seen each other since y'all were probably 8.
Pretty close, yeah.
Something like that,
nice.
Yeah.
How old are you now?
I am 38.
Okay, so you're 3 years younger than me. And pretty close to that with Mikey, too.
Yeah, I think he's 1 year old, year and a half older than me or
Yeah, that
something.
sounds about right.
Yeah, he was always between me and my oldest brother.
Jeff?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know, should we jump straight into the comedy, or do you want to talk about other stuff?
Comedy's fine.
Okay,
Yeah,
when did you decide to start doing comedy?
Let's see. This would be summer of 2017.
So very recently.
Yeah,
And-
I'm only 4.5 years in or so,
Like-
and
Like, especially as far as stand-up comedy goes, most people start doing that at a very young age. And-
yeah, the smart ones do. No one. I used to have that in my act about what a fucking genius move it was to start at age 34.
After you already have a career going. So what did you do before comedy?
Well, that's the thing is I was a bartender.
Okay.
Nice.
For years and years, but I was always trying to get out of the service industry. I'm not as much of a people person as I should be. And the last time I tried to escape, it was like a sales job, and I wasn't making it. So I was like, had put everything into getting all my certifications and all this stuff, and I was failing at it. But not even that. I didn't mind the failing. I also hated it. I was like, I'm just not built for an office type of job, but I didn't want to bartend anymore. So I sort of had like a breakdown, and I was like, I will go back to the service industry and do this thing that I don't love because it's the most money I know how to make.
Yeah.
And, I had a kid by then already. But I made a promise to myself, if you're going to do this, you're going to also pursue something that you're
passionate about.
Yeah. And I guess I sort of knew I had always wanted to do it and maybe just didn't admit it or something. And so it was intended to kind of be a hobby. And then the first, second open mic I did, I was like, well, this is it now.
Nice.
Cool. I'm fascinated with stand-up comedians.
We're a weird bunch.
I watch it as many specials as I can. Bert Kreischer's my favorite one.
Okay, gotta love Bert.
I love Bert and Tom. I don't know if you do you watch their podcast?
Tom is one of the I've listened to it.
Yeah.
Tom is one of the only the few people that I've actually gone to see live.
Yeah.
I didn't see a ton of stand up like I should have before I started it, and now I kind of like what's the guy's name? Whiskey Ginger Santino.
Santino, but I can't think of his first name.
I don't know why I'm drawing a blank.
Andrew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, he's in town like this weekend or something like that, or no, it's in a couple weeks. Anyways, I'm working. I wouldn't be able to afford to go probably anyways, but.
So did you go see Tom when he recently came through?
It was when he was building up to releasing Ball Hog, so I'm sure he's been back since. Yeah, the I'm Coming Everywhere tour. Yeah, no, it was probably like 3 years ago maybe.
Okay. Yeah, I went with a friend, and we went and saw him when he's here in January. And like I said, Bert's my favorite. We saw Bert in December.
Mm-hmm.
Tom's stand-up, I liked it better.
He really is a machine. And the amount...
Well, Bert's the machine.
Well, yeah, that's true. Well, Bert's a partying machine. Segura is a content, material.
Yeah.
When I saw him, he had pretty recent. It was like 6 months after his previous special, and he did an hour and a half, all new.
It's
and I'm
insane.
like, how do you? Yeah, it's.
And I wonder if when you've been doing it for as long as they have, if you just have material that comes, you already have it built up, kind of, and you just need to find the right time to put it on stage.
Mm-hmm.
Like I imagine when you're after your 25 years of doing stand-up comedy, at some point you start rotating stuff back in. Even though now he would do something so much better than he would have done it 25 years ago. You know what I mean?
I've even in my little baby career, I've had that happen where I went back to an old notebook, and there was a big long bit that I wrote when I was brand new, basically, like 6 months in maybe, and I could have never really made it work back then. But then I revisited, I punched it up a little bit, and that's my closer. So imagine if you're Segura and you told he's a storytelling guy.
Yeah.
So if he ever had a bit that didn't work before, with how good he is now, I'm sure
Just
he
bring
can
it back.
Yeah.
What was the very first joke or bit you did on stage?
I had
Because you said your second time you fell in love with it, you're like, yeah, I'm doing this.
Yeah, I maintain that I was, because I started so late in life, and maybe had secretly, like I was so weird. I would come up with like something. I'd be like, if I was a stand-up, I would do this, but I would say this like this, but I never legitimately thought of trying it. So I think that I had been kind of thinking in that way for so long and had stuff kind of built up. Anyways, all that to say is I truly don't think I was that terrible when I started, and I used to write a lot more than I do now in kind of like long form. So I know people always tell their first joke, and it's like a kind of a wordplay one-liner thing, but my first thing was like a 4-minute bit about my dick being small. So it was still, that's like a cliche thing.
Yeah.
The early comic goes straight for the dick joke.
And what's better than a big dick joke is a small dick joke.
Right.
That's what makes it's a better dick joke when it's about a small dick. And I'm pretty sure you led up to it not saying right away that's a small dick.
No, I think that was like the first
You started
line.
all right. Then you talked about your small dick for 4 minutes. All right.
Yeah. The end of it was that was the twist. It's like, and this is a true story. My girlfriend at the time, my wife, had gotten a dick pic like out of the blue.
Oh, it wasn't you.
No, it was just a random number she didn't have programmed. And so I was like, it's not an ex-boyfriend. It's just some random guy sitting there going, you know what? Why am I sitting around feeling sorry for myself? I've got this fucking dick. I've got my phone right here already. Let's just cast this line out and see what we catch.
Yeah.
And then the turn was like, so anyways, that guy and my ex have been together for a while now. And that was...
That's a good bit. I feel like I'm a really good storyteller, but only to my friends. Like
that's how it starts.
Yeah, I can make my friends laugh and giggle when I'm telling a story, but I don't know how that would translate unless you already know the story. Does that make sense, Dustin?
No, I get it.
You've heard me tell stories about shit that's happened, and
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I don't think that would work as a stand-up comedian. I don't know how I could make those kind of stories work.
Right.
I feel like people would have to know me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
well, maybe
exactly.
that's I said I kind of did it backwards. That's the way you kind of do it, is you learn how to write a joke first, and then once you kind of have that voice and people get it, like
then you tell stories.
I'm sure most people are like this. I start out with the jokier jokes, and then once it's going well and people kind of get who I am, then I can tell a 5-10 minute story.
Okay, that brings up something interesting I didn't even think about. How much does the crowd affect your shows?
I don't switch it up that much.
Okay.
I sometimes I have to work clean, and I don't have or like club clean, like clean-ish, and I don't have that much clean material. So if it's something like that, I got to do 25-30 minutes, and I can't do this, and this. That set is pretty much set in stone. If I'm eating shit, if I'm bombing, that's just what it's going to be. And then if I'm doing a sort of a medium length set, and I can do whatever I want, I might read the crowd and be like, instead of telling this story, I'm just going to rattle these few jokes off and get out of here. But for the most part, I don't have the courage. Those are the guys that I really respect. Like, hey, what's your opening joke? They go, I'm going to get up there and see how I feel.
Wing it, yeah.
Which is what we do with this podcast. We just
we wing it.
start
But
talking
we
to
always get
somebody
good shit.
and yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine. Okay, I guess we can actually formally introduce you instead
Well,
of
you
just
asked me
Steve-O
to,
or
and then you
Steve.
interrupted again per the usual.
What I ask you?
You asked me to introduce him, and then you just completely interrupted, and then you introduced
I asked
him.
you if you wanted to, and you're like, I don't know.
You didn't give me a chance.
Oh,
You're like,
okay.
I'm not even sure if I
you
like
said,
this
hey,
guy
Dusty, you want
yet.
to introduce him? Hey, by the way, what does your name go by? Anyway,
Okay, you're
And then
100%
20 minutes
accurate.
later, here we are. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is what happened.
That's
Okay,
exactly
so
what-
go
it's
ahead
what
then.
Always happens. All right, so this is Steve. Steve, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little about yourself?
This is Steve Gammill. You want to spell that because that's your website too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Gammill, and Gammill rhymes with camel. That's the reason I go by Steve instead of Steven, is because my name's with a PH. So I'm
Oh.
like, people are already going to fuck up my last name. I get Gammill, Gamelli, every crazy thing,
Yeah.
and I don't need them to call me Stefan on top of it.
Yeah,
so I
that's
just
smart.
do Steve because it's easier.
So SteveGammill.com.
Yeah.
Do you want to give any Instagrams or anything else out?
Yeah, I have Twitter. You can find me on there and on YouTube, but my Instagram is the thing I'm trying to pump up right now.
Okay,
I'm trying
there
to
you
put
go.
out a lot on there, but it's, at Steve Gammill.
I've watched a couple of your things on TikTok, and that when you're picking up the Uber order bit,
Oh, yeah.
I was watching. You're like, just so passionate. Just follow your dreams. I was like, oh, picking up a order for so and so. It's like, okay, that's genius. So just a simple little joke is just, I don't know. That's how I feel like that's the way I can tell when somebody is going to be entertaining to me, because not
Yeah.
everybody's entertaining to everybody.
Yeah, that's just my. If I'd have seen somebody else do that, it would have been one of those like, whoa, why didn't I think of that things?
I loved it.
But here's who I am as a person. I thought about that. I was like, this would be great, and it's short. It's perfect for like TikTok stuff. And then it took me weeks to build up the courage to do it at the Sonic window because there's a real person on the other end who's
Okay.
like, what the fuck's this guy talking about?
But I was going to ask you if that was actually a real live thing that you did, or if it was kind of a pre-recorded somewhat of a bit. But that's
Yeah,
even better
I
to
did
know.
it. I think I did it twice without it working. So I would like,
Like the timing didn't work right.
yeah. So I tried to like start and then hit the button so that they would interrupt me like that, and then I would get all the way through with my spiel,
And
then be
nothing.
sitting there. And I forget how it fucked up the other time, but yeah, that was like the third go where they interrupted me at the right time.
And that makes a lot of sense to do it at Sonic, because you do have that push button.
Yeah.
It's almost like you have that. It's not a recording, but hey, this is the best way to get someone to talk to me when I need them to talk to me.
yeah. Actually, in hindsight, pretty impressive. I got it on the third take.
Yeah.
But I had to accept some Sonic orders that I maybe normally wouldn't have just to get that.
Dude, I
What do I
once actually got an Uber, and it said like 5 minutes away, because there's not, we live out kind of in the country. It's not real country, but I ordered an Uber and just to get a ride down to downtown Fort Worth, and they said about 5-6 minutes away. I was like, perfect. 10 minutes later, it's still in the same spot. He finally shows up, and he has Sonic. He's like, sorry, man, I had to stop and get lunch. I was like, okay, you could have just not accepted the ride,
Right.
and then gotten lunch. Oh,
Yeah, that's wild. I admitted to a lady, and I don't pick up people anymore. I just do the food. But this lady was like, "Wow, was there a lot of traffic?" And I was like, "No, I was like stone cold out of gas. I had to stop and get gas." And she got so pissed that I stopped. I was like, tried to hurry and everything. How much time can that add?
Yeah.
But she's like, it said 4 minutes, and you got here in 7 minutes. What the fuck? I was like, oh, shit. I should have been like, yep, there was traffic.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I didn't even get mad at the guy. I say it as a joke now. He could have not accepted the order, but I was like,
Yeah.
all right, eat your lunch. That's fine. I don't care.
Yeah.
Could have offered to pick me something up.
Right.
We could have gone together and had some fun out of it.
Feel like, hey, you mind if I just stop here and grab me something to eat real quick?
Yeah, you could have
Yeah, as long
done
as I'm going to run up my
a
tab.
free Uber Eats on top of
Yeah.
your ride.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you said you're not a people person. That's why you want to get out of the bartending service industry, but yet you stand in front of big crowds. Is it just because you're not going to have like that one-on-one contact with somebody, or what?
Yeah, well, first I think that's more common than a lot of people think. I've had, a lot of people say, I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of like socially awkward or whatever. And they're like,
Right.
you're a comedian. You're supposed to love people. You're supposed,
Yeah.
But like the introverted, there's Berts out there. There's
Yeah.
Bert Kreischers out there. But I would say the vast majority of comics are introverted, by nature. So there's that. And then there's just, I think it's the kind of the mind of a comic is always kind of analyzing and finding what's not only funny about stuff, but like what doesn't make sense and what's annoying or whatever. And so like on the bartending end, you got to be agreeable with everything. You're just
Yeah.
there as a sounding board to tell these people
Yeah.
that they're great. But
Yeah, because you're working for the tip.
yeah. So
If you piss somebody off while you're being a comic, it's like, well, you paid to get in here, so
Yeah, you
Yeah,
you
no
exactly.
refunds.
yeah, but yeah, I don't know if that's if I answered that well,
Yeah,
but it's
No, I think that makes sense. That makes
Yeah,
a
it
lot of
does.
sense. I bartended for a long time. I'm kind of the same way.
Yeah,
Like,
Ricky's not a people person.
yeah, I'm not. Well, I'm not. I am a people person once I get out into the people, but for the most part, I want to stay home and not do anything. you
Yeah,
know?
or if you're in the mood for it. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? If you go to work 40 hours a week as a bartender, the odds you're always going to be in the mood to talk to everybody is pretty low.
Do you want to say where you bartend at now? You don't have to.
Oh, I don't.
Oh, you don't? It's just is it just stand up comedy now?
Well, and then I do the Uber thing to
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
obviously that's and I say it in my I talk about doing Uber in my act, and people always like ask if that I'm like, no, yeah, I did it today. Yeah, if you ordered food this afternoon, there's a pretty good chance I'd have brought it to you.
So where did you go this past weekend?
I was in the Funny Bone in Dayton, Ohio,
Okay.
Oh man.
and
What's the process of getting booked at these places?
well, a lot of the like I think you saw that thing I always put like upcoming shows,
Yeah.
especially if I'm really busy. It doesn't help you get booked. It's just to brag to other comics. But mine usually looks a lot cooler than it is because a lot of the places I go that like my DFW friends and everybody aren't going, it's just because I travel with one guy. I travel with a guy named William Lee Martin.
Okay, so when you go, it's y'all two doing the show.
Yeah, so a lot of it is theaters, and so it'll just be a two-man show. And then now he's doing a run of comedy clubs, a lot of improvs, and
Yeah.
So he's took me to Ohio. He's also taken me to Colorado, and then he's taken me to Florida, and those are all club dates.
Yeah, so Colorado, I'm going to go up there for those shows.
Nice,
And then we're also going to do a giveaway for 2 tickets on each night.
nice.
How's that sound?
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
That wouldn't get more people to show up, assuming we have enough people listening to this that are interested. Because, they got to get to Colorado or live in Colorado, which we know a few.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, yeah, if you're interested in going to see Steve Gammill on April 22nd and 23rd,
if that's a Friday and Saturday, then
I
that's,
believe it is,
yeah.
because 420 is on a Wednesday. But, hold on.
It is.
It is.
Here we go.
The only reason I know that is because I'm going to see Joe Rogan
Same.
on that day.
Nice.
He's doing Coliseum here in Fort Worth,
Dickies Arena.
Dickies Arena.
Oh yeah, I did see that
Yeah.
on my feed.
So we're gonna go see that. I think Dustin, you're going too, right?
Yep.
You're not sitting with us, so
No.
I just
But
bought
I'll
my-
wave.
Refuses to.
yeah.
No, he didn't. He's like, oh yeah, we got tickets. I was like, why didn't you fucking tell me?
Well,
I would have pitched in.
Well,
we could've
it's
sat
kind
together.
Of kind of a
So we've got
quick on
let's
the
see,
run thing. You have
2,
6
4
tickets.
We do have 6 tickets.
We have 2.
Yeah.
And did that pretty much sell out immediately? Is that why it was like a snap decision too? I could
yeah,
imagine.
it was sold out. Everything we bought was on StubHub.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Or a generic ticket purchasing site that you buy already previously bought tickets.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily called StubHub. Maybe HubStub.
Those things are so sketchy to me sometimes.
So yeah. So
Yeah, but
anybody-
think about the old version. There's just
Yeah,
some guy in a
you're
trench
right.
coat
Yeah,
outside of the
you're
theater.
right.
And they're like, I
That's
don't know if
true.
this works or not. Let's try. But yeah, so that's going to be April 22nd and 23rd. If anybody's interested, email us at simsandleon@gmail.com. That's Dustin.
SIMSANDLEON@gmail.com.
He has to spell it because I can't.
Yeah. Last time he spelled it, it was literally 2 days ago. He said SIMSLEON. I was like, no, there's an and in there.
You forgot something.
I forgot.
So I'm terrible at spelling. You can email us, or you can also email Mikey Unlikely at, is it
Oh,
Mr.
shit.
Mikey Unlikely?
Yeah.
Mr. Mikey
I believe
Unlikely at
it's Gmail.
gmail.com. And, or just go to our website, simsandleon.com, and find a link somewhere
Yeah.
for Mikey's. So I'm not even going to try to spell that one. I'll be way off on that. But yeah, so I'm going to fly up there. My sister and brother-in-law live there too, so I think they're going to go to at least one of the shows. I think me and Mikey plan on going to both shows, even though they're going to be the same. We don't
Yeah,
care.
he asked me. It was a common question, kind of like, "Hey,
Yeah.
do you do the same act both shows?" Like, close enough to where
Close
you wouldn't
enough.
want to be at both. But
Well, for me, it's mostly about supporting our friends, partners, and everything. That
Yeah.
Yeah.
you jumping on this show helps us. You know,
yeah, well, another thing, if you, like as a comic that works at Hyenas, I
Yeah.
can just kind of show up and see who's there that night. So I opened for Joe List for a weekend in Dallas, and so I watched him for 4 shows, and you got to see because he's another prolific writer, so you got to see over 4 shows how he tweaks little things. So he just put out, or he's about to release a special on YouTube. So this is all new stuff. He's trying to get an hour together as fast as he can, so once he drops
Yeah.
that, he can tour. So super fast as a fan of comedy, just to watch him just over 4 shows,
Right.
how much he changes stuff. He'll change the order of things, the segues, alternate different tags and stuff. Like, really cool to watch somebody that good, and then you realize, like, I'm the one that should be working the most on my shit. And he came through Fort Worth recently, which is even closer to me. And me and my wife ended up going on a date night. But I was just going to pop in and watch his set and see in 6 weeks how much it had changed from the shows I saw.
Yeah.
So that could be like, it's a little bit behind the curtain if you see 2 shows in a row.
Okay.
But other than that, you're just going to have to laugh the second time and pretend.
I will definitely laugh. I'll
At
start
least for my
laughing
set.
right before you hit the punchline,
I'll
so
tell you right
people
now.
can preemptively start
Or
laughing.
just shout it out. That way everybody can laugh a little bit early.
Ricky listens to the retakes of this show like 3-4 times, so
Yeah.
I'm sure only 2 takes of seeing something, he'd laugh every time.
Dude, when I'm editing some of this stuff, I start laughing at what we're saying to where
Yeah.
I just get buried into it. So I'm like, shit, now I got to go back and do this over
You
again.
forgot you were doing a job. Yeah. Well,
How's your margarita?
oh, man, I was going to say, it's fantastic. You can tell when somebody knows what the hell they're doing.
Nice.
Yeah, we talked about the Old Texas Brewery a lot. Have you ever listened to any of our shows or
I hadn't-
podcasts? Okay.
yeah,
Well, I mean, if you get to, do it, but if not, no big deal.
What are we at, like 16?
Yeah.
Something?
16 and like 3 half
It's
episodes.
3 halves?
Yeah,
It's
so
almost 20.
16 and 3 halves.
Nice.
I'm not going to do the math. I think it could be 17 and a half.
Well, technically
close to
it
20.
could be.
Plus the pilot.
Plus, the pilot shouldn't count. We might need to delete that
I
one
think we need
forever.
to delete the first couple
Yeah.
up until episode 4.
No, I say don't walk away from your
When
origin
we've
story.
talked about it,
We did.
We've talked about that, and then we both always come up with the same thing. It's like, no, because we want to be able to listen and go back to where we started when we
Yeah.
didn't know how the audio stuff on this thing worked. And
Yeah.
we just picked up literally everything. You could hear planes flying by, like you were saying earlier. You can hear
You
birds.
can still
Yeah.
hear some planes.
So you recorded
and
your podcast before you got here.
Yeah.
And
So
that's
what's that?
This is so we're on episode like 5, I think.
Okay.
And we're still trying to figure out what the hell we're doing, both like from a tech thing and also
Yeah.
what kind of podcast we want to have.
So do y'all have like an actual studio? Or does it sound like this setup where we're
It's
just
something
in
like
a
that. Yeah, we
garage?
just do it in his living room.
Okay.
Just simple setup.
So what kind of microphones and stuff do y'all use?
I don't fucking know.
You don't-
Just,
you-
no,
you
we
just-
just use like the regular, like you would have on stage, like a Shure.
Okay. Yeah, I know that you were talking about earlier that you thought about opening a window, but then y'all were like, I don't know if we hear birds and stuff. You probably hear birds.
Yeah. I defer to him on everything. He's done it before and he knows what. But I mean, we don't even have cans. Like, and I also thought when I listened to the first episode, because I've heard even people that are famous that have podcasts, I'm just like, is no one telling you that the sound is awful? Like,
Yeah.
I have to turn my car stereo all the way up to hear you, and then somebody laughs too loud and it fucking shakes my
Yeah.
whole. But ours, for some reason, sounds good, even with the super crude setup.
Well, then don't change it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever mics you'll have, they work. They work.
So what's it called?
It's called Poor Baby.
Poor
Baby.
baby.
Yeah.
Have y'all posted anywhere yet?
We put it up on Spotify, and we only promote basically just through like Instagram.
Okay. Poor
Alright.
baby.
I'll have to look it up tomorrow.
Definitely look it up.
Yeah, I think it's on Spotify and Google Play, and then we're gonna start throwing them up on YouTube, but probably no video, just the audio on YouTube.
Yeah.
That's
a lot of people say they want us to do video. I'm like, I don't want to do that much work. Like, it's already a lot of work
Yeah.
with just audio. Eventually, if we actually like get real sponsors and have a following, then maybe.
Yeah.
But when it's just our friends and stuff listening, I'm like, we're good for now.
Yeah,
He
I
says
also
friends and
think
stuff.
We have a lot. We have a lot more than just friends listening. We have
Some people from Belgium.
Yeah, the Netherlands.
Yeah, isn't that
The
cool?
bailed
Netherlands.
off on us. Yeah,
Oh, they bailed off?
I haven't seen any Netherlands this month.
Oh,
They'll be
damn
back.
it.
Yeah, we had a huge hit with the Netherlands in March, or not March, in February. And it's like towards the end of the month, boom, like 5,000 different listeners from Belgium, or not listeners, page view clicks on our website. I assume listeners, but probably not. And then they just disappeared. Like, but we still have a huge following in Belgium for some reason.
Yeah.
They make up a quarter of our web page hits.
That's awesome, man. I find that so fascinating. That
Ricky sends me text on the daily on, look at this. We're getting over 100 listens a day and all that.
I love the analytics
Yeah,
of things, of
he loves
how many, when it can tell you exactly how many people have been listening and have listened. I just love that shit.
Yeah.
It's updates to the minute, so it'll tell me how many people have listened in the last 24 hours. Mm-hmm. It's like, this is so fucking awesome.
Yeah, I've probably, like I said, I kind of leave all that stuff up to
Yeah.
Colton because he's better at it, and I don't have time anyways. But I would probably get obsessed with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, I am.
Yeah, I'd be on there all the
100%
day.
I
Like,
am.
we got one guy in Guatemala. And he not only listened, he subscribed. He's a fan.
We have some people in Germany, Colombia, oddly
Yeah.
enough, which is where my family's from.
Nice.
Yeah, and I don't think any of it's not relatives I'm like close to or anything. Just great grandparents, great aunts, and stuff like that. That
Not your average podcast
no.
demographic.
Yeah. No, and not a single one of these people I've seen since I was in third grade. If that paints a picture, so I don't think they really know what we're doing. So
Kind
I'm
of like
assuming,
Steve over here.
yeah, pretty
Since
close.
he's in third grade.
Yeah. Do you know anybody from your childhood, or have you
No.
did you go to prison for a long time?
Well, I don't want to talk about it.
yeah, we're gonna
because-
find out by the end of this. Have another margarita. We'll get to the bottom of it.
Yeah, I brought you a pickle beer, and then you sadly told me you don't like pickles. And I was like, geez, why are we even having this guy on?
Here, in my defense, this is so funny. On our podcast, we'll just come up with random questions just to kind of keep the dialogue going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Colton goes, "How many pickles a week?" And I was like, "Hear me out. 0 pickles ever, but I know that the problem is within me. I'm not one of these people like, oh, pickles are gross. You guys are all assholes. I'm like, everybody, my daughter loves pickles. My wife's a fanatic, whatever. I'm just like, and I'm a food person. Like, I wish that I could share in this, but
I am obsessed with pickles.
Yeah.
Like, it's not healthy.
pickle snow cone
Yeah.
when you go to the snow cone stand.
I've
yeah.
been pickle snow cones. We've talked about it before. The last time I counted, I had over 20 jars of pickles in my fridge.
Holy shit.
And when I say 20 jars of not the same kind of pickles, each jar is a different type of pickle.
Do you get like a real spicy one ever?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I
that
love
would
the
be my
spicy
jam.
Pickles. Yeah, spicy pickles. Just anything except sweet pickles. I don't care for anything sweet.
Maybe I should do a fucking immersion pickle therapy or something. Are you a pickle half fanatic? Like not as bad as he is?
Oh
but
yeah, no.
You're like, the
Shelby
pickle
was
beer's
on,
mine, motherfucker.
and she was in there, and she's like, man, and because we have not as bad as Ricky has, but we had 7, I think,
Yeah.
7 jars of pickles. So yeah.
I think we're at probably like 3 in my fridge right now. But that's because I'm the fridge cleaner outer.
Oh, there you go.
My wife will be like, can I get a to-go box for that? I'll be like, I'll be throwing that away in 2.5
That's how
days.
we are. It's
Yeah.
like you're not going to eat that. If you're not touching it now, you're not going to touch it later.
When I left here the other day, we had that leftover pizza, and I thought the same thing. I was like, I'm just going to put this in the trash as soon as I get home because I'm not going to eat it.
Yeah.
I ate every single bit of that.
Oh,
it was
man.
so good.
It was good.
That's one thing that will not go to waste in my home.
Pizza?
Yeah.
And this
we
was-
got some leftovers still.
Yeah, and this is a place that's really close to here called it's Villa Diana. Is that
Yep.
what it's called?
Yep.
It's a very nice place. It's not like your normal
He's from, I don't know where.
chain places.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're really good. Albanese? No, that doesn't sound right. Albanian.
Richie? See, Elena was thinking he was from Ukraine. I don't know. Let me look it up. I have him on Facebook.
Okay. So how often do y'all actually record your podcast?
We record and release it same day every Tuesday. We're going to have one in a couple weeks where I'm going to be out of town. And we're going to have a guest host. We're going to do it 2 Bears, 1 Cave style instead
Yeah.
of doing it Zoom or because that was my idea. I was like, I think there's something to putting it out super consistent. So I was like, hey, let's get one in the can. Let's
Yeah.
do like 2 days in a row, 1 week. And he was like, because we're always like, hey, where were you at last weekend? What'd you do? You know, blah, blah, blah. So he's like, I kind of like it being like legit current. So we're going to do the guest host thing. Shout out Matt McElhone, a great DFW comedian. It's going to fill my shoes for a week.
Oh, you said his name's Colton?
Colton Jones,
Colton
is my
Jones?
co-host.
He's also a local or a comedian that's locally.
Uh-huh.
Does he do the traveling stuff too?
Not as much. I don't think he does clubs the way I do, but he'll travel and do like one-nighters and stuff. You know,
Okay.
there's a lot of like breweries and stuff where you can get out there and get some different audiences.
Oh, who's the guy that he's local as well, but becoming very popular very quickly in the last, I would say, maybe year. Akash Singh. Do you know him?
Mm-mm.
Or have you heard of him?
Mm-mm.
Okay, he's a local guy. I think he lives in New York now, and he was just on Joe Rogan a few weeks ago, and he released his YouTube special, Bring Back Apu.
Bring back
Yeah.
Apu. That's a hot take.
I highly recommend watching it.
Oh, that's
Well,
funny.
he's Indian,
Yeah.
so and he's talking about one of the things, I don't want to give away his bits, but you can look it up on YouTube. Basically saying like he was a successful immigrant that came here, opened his own store, and they got rid of him because a white guy did his voice. He was like, it's someone we could look up to as an Indian kid growing up, and our parents did the same thing. and we have a representative on a very popular show, The Simpsons. So I don't know. He makes a funny bit about it. Like I'm not telling the story funny, but he goes. That's why he named it that. He was, the Ticket, the radio station.
Uh-huh.
He was on the Ticket. That's how I first heard of him, and he started talking about it. And then he was back on a couple of days, and he wasn't even on the Ticket as an interview. He just came to go to lunch with one of the guys, happened to be in studio, and he started talking about it. He's like, and he told one of the guys, Dan, I don't know how familiar you are with any of the Ticket hosts. And he told Dan, he's like, I named my special because of what you said.
Oh, wow.
And
Nice.
that's why I named it Bring Back Apu. It's like, that's very, very fun to know. Nice little Ticket tie-ins. I don't know. Yeah, so do you listen to sports talk radio?
No, I'm
Mostly music?
yeah, well, mostly podcasts and audiobooks, but I'm also I feel the way about sports that I do about pickles. So so more
feel the
apologies
same way.
on my part.
No.
I don't listen to it. I don't
Yeah.
do a lot of it.
Listening to the Ticket, being a P1 is almost like being a part of a family, part of a cult. Mm-hmm. Like you start talking in P1 talk.
Yeah.
And and I've been a P1 I've listened to the Ticket for a long time. I keep calling P1 because that's what they call us.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that means.
So it's a radio term that insiders use. Their goal is to get everyone to be a P1. And that means preset 1. You want your station to be
that's the
preset
default.
1.
Yeah.
And they started doing the Ticket started like over 25 years ago. And when they started doing a promo, and one of the hosts says, let's do it for the P1s. And that's when anyone's ever really brought it on air, that they call their listeners P1s. And now the Ticket just held on to it. Now we're all P1s.
Yeah, because you would think it'd be like kind of off-putting. It's like you think of as like just a number or something, but then you spin it and put some pride on it.
Yeah.
And then it's like a
And
cool.
then
Yeah.
a female called in, it's probably about 4 years ago, and claimed herself as a V1. So now we have P1s and V1s.
God bless.
That one does not stand for preset.
I bet it doesn't. That one just not. I like the clarification there.
So you started comedy 2017-ish. How long have you been actually writing for stuff? Or did you just have ideas and then start writing them down?
Yeah, I think my first however many months, not like I was like, okay, now I'm a comedian. I have this bit, this bit. But it's like I had thoughts that I maybe kind of, I think more in those terms than some people. So writing kind of came easy. Well, it's also easier when you don't know what's kind of bad. You know what I mean? Everything you write, you're like, I'm going to go up. This is going to kill. And then you're like, wait.
They don't think it's funny. I think it's funny.
Yeah, exactly. Now you kind of can self-edit and cancel things before you even get up there to try them. But, I had a lot of things that once I kind of got my memory jogged about them.
So now that you've done it for 5 years, does it change the way you notice things and think about things?
Dustin. You want it? A little topper off.
All right, top it off.
Like, are you constantly seeing different things as a bit? Because I know even when we started this podcast, we started doing it back in November. We didn't release anything until mid-December. But you get to the point to where you'll start having a conversation. It's like, this could be a great podcast topic. Mm-hmm. Is that the same kind of with comedy bits?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah. It doesn't even stop when I'm asleep. I could be dreaming about something weird and wake up and be like, should I put that in my phone? And then you wake up a little bit more and you're like, no, that's fucking stupid as hell. But, everything goes through the filter. Anything out of the ordinary happens at all. You'll flag it if it could be something.
Yeah, it's kind of for me with this show. It was like I try to take the simplest thing and turn it into a story.
Yeah.
Like, even if I know I'm never going to talk about it on the podcast, I take that simple thing that happens, like, I can make that entertaining.
Yeah.
And I don't care if I entertain other people, as long as I'm entertaining me and sometimes Dustin, that's all I care about.
Yeah. Well, and then when that's the goal, that's when the good shit comes out. And then you do find those P1s that identify with your sensibility.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So my favorite podcast is Tuesdays with Stories with Mark Norman and Joe List.
Okay.
And they do, that's the whole essence of the show, is that Joe List will have something, a confrontation happen at the airport, and he turns it into because they're riffing off of each other, and then he's like blowing it up into this big story. And so that's what I try to do with our podcast. And so I'll like jot, I'm sure you jot your stuff down on your phone, like, yeah, maybe talk about this week. I almost never get to any of my notes because we just hit the ground running, and then,
Yeah, that's the best way to do it, because me and him do the same thing. For a long time, we had like a running thing of notes that we could talk about. And normally come on, I was like, all right, let's talk about this and see where it goes. And it's never failed. But we also have normally we have a different guest on every week, so we have someone
Okay, I was
going
to ask you if it's always a guest or if you guys ever just do it just the two of y'all.
We've done a few of them with just me and him. But for the most part, like we have Aliki, she lives in Kentucky. She's on probably once a month.
Okay.
And this is a person we've never met.
Yeah, we've never met her.
We've never met her.
How did she become a friend of the pod?
That same lady, Vicky, that I told you about, they met each other while they were on vacation one year, many years ago. They were what was it, the selling trip?
Yeah, something like that.
And it was a very crazy trip, like very super expensive, sailing across some islands that her and her fiance had a chance to go to, and Larry and Vicky were going to. They ended up meeting, just having so much fun, so then they started traveling together.
Oh, nice.
And when I was telling Vicky about this thing, she's like, you need to talk to my friend Aliki. And even Larry got excited. He's like, yeah, we call her the spin doctor, because you can talk about anything and she'll spin that conversation into something else. Like, all right, let's give it a try. And that's why we tell everybody, start on episode 4. That's when we figured out our audio, and that's the first time she was on. And she's fascinating.
Oh, we spent 2 hours, and we could have easily spent 4.
Yeah.
So you don't have her on because she has a crazy job or anything?
No,
she's retired.
She's up in Kentucky.
So,
She
but
doesn't live here.
Well, I know that, but I'm saying
you're
like...
saying because, we have her on because, she's fascinating.
she's fascinating.
She's done everything.
Like we didn't know anything about her. We just had her on, started talking to her, and she retired from the restaurant business that her and her mom owned. They owned a restaurant for 30 years.
Yeah.
And then we found out when she was a kid, her granddad invented the camera they use at the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, the finish line.
The finish line.
Oh.
And then her dad was the guy in charge of that camera.
He ran the camera.
So she spent her entire childhood at the Kentucky Derby.
Sure.
And we had no clue about any of this. And that's what we talked about the first episode.
At Churchill Downs, I think that's what
man.
the actual place is called. So, yeah. So, I mean, and then we talked to her
very
that one
interesting.
time. I was like, yeah, we're definitely going to have her on. And we've had her on 3 more times after that.
So then Ricky mails her a microphone. We just recently recorded one with her.
Yeah.
With the new mic, the new system. So she got some SNL swag.
Nice.
Yeah, because before we are just doing it over the phone. And then through a laptop or any kind of PC, you can go through a thing called Clean Feed. And it's such a clear connection.
So now you don't even have... She might as well be in the room.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like, we need to fix our settings a little bit because they wear off a little. Like, I don't know if you know how the audio on phones work. It cuts out the high end and the low end. So you kind of get that. It limits how much excitement you get out of it.
Yeah.
It limits your voice. And then with this feed, it's wide open. And then there's no delay, which on the phone, you don't really notice the delay until you're listening back and you edit it. And then, like, we'll ask her something. The delay gets to her, then her answer is delayed back to us. So there's like a 2-second pause in there that when you're just talking to someone on the phone, you don't realize that's happening. But when you're actually listening to it, it's like, oh, that's a lot of silence.
Yeah.
Especially when you're listening to detail like I do and I'm trying to clear out the silence, which is pretty much all I ever edit out. Hell, she was on the Clean Feed on Sunday and re-recorded for 4 hours. Dustin?
Yeah, we did. I'm sorry, my mom called me. Normally she doesn't call, so if she calls, it might be an emergency. I'm just trying to make sure.
It's Arturo.
Yeah, that's what I figured too.
Well,
I'm just saying, she called me from her cell phone. I just had to try to answer that. I was out for a minute.
So
okay.
not just silence to edit out this episode. You're going to have a little bit more...
I'll leave that shit in.
That's
The
what
listeners need to know.
Oh, he says it every time. He's like, yeah, I'll edit that out later. And even
I never do.
Aliki called him out, and she's like
You always say you're going to edit out.
That.
But I even leave that when I'm talking. I was like, I'll edit that out later. And I never edit out.
Yeah. Well, maybe it puts the person at ease.
Yeah.
They're like,
Makes
good.
him feel as one.
Yeah.
The only thing
I don't have to worry that I just said the N-word. Ricky's got it taken care of. We can just go
I'll
through
take
the
care of
interview like normal.
After Tom Segura, my friend Holly lost her phone and a debit card there. So I told the whole story about that. And I kept saying I wasn't going to say her name, but I kept saying her name. So that's the only thing I actually edited out was I bleeped out her name. But now since then we've talked about it so many times and everybody knows it's her. She's even gotten on and said, I don't care that you tell the story. I've been telling the story, so I mean it's a funny story.
Yeah.
But I won't tell it again, but yeah.
I always say with our podcast, I mean, we don't have Germany listeners. I also think we on purpose
That
don't
you know
look
of.
at the statistics of it or whatever.
Yeah.
But we play a game like we just got 100 mil from Spotify. He's like, oh shit, did I just say where I work? Like dude, it's like episode 1 and we haven't even, I'm just like, yeah, we love to pretend there could be consequences. I'm like, dude, we could be spewing hate speech right now. We're getting 0 blowback from our 6 listeners around the globe.
Yeah. I say we have 2 weeks ago, we hit over 5,000 listens total from when we started back in December, which I think that's a good milestone.
Yeah, I'm pretty surprised about the numbers.
That's great in general, but that's,
It's cool to watch and see it growing and growing and growing, because I'd rather see get more listeners every week as opposed to going the other way around.
Yeah.
Yeah, plus because even the biggest, Hollywood stars that start a podcast, the only way to promote is going on other podcasts. So you start with just word of mouth. And then it gets, even if it grows a little, that's awesome. It grows that much. You're like, dude, we're doing something.
So is it always just going to be you and Cole? Do y'all ever want to have a guest on?
We talked about it today. It's why I was late to get here. He hit me with the...
You weren't late. You were right on time.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
We don't have.
Well, then edit that out.
We don't
pretend
have a schedule.
Oh, we have guests that are late.
You're like,
you were not one of them.
All that means is
edit that out.
that just means y'all waited a little bit to have these margaritas. No, but
Ricky
he
was only honestly here about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Wasn't that long. And the margaritas showed up after he showed up. So, yeah, you're perfect.
So I was right on time.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this is also the editing equipment, so I have to take that. It travels back and forth from this studio and the editing studio.
So, yeah.
Which
The editing
the editing
studio's
studio is
across
my
town.
living
Just
room.
a different garage. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Bill
It's
Gates
not-
starting a garage too, I mean,
Amazon
shit.
starting a garage.
Yeah.
Apple starting a garage.
Here we are.
Now here we are in a garage.
Yeah.
But so he was like, hey, we should have McElhone on as a guest host and do it that way. And I said, oh, that's great. So that'll also it solves that problem, but it'll also open the door for us later to have a guest
Yeah.
if we want. He was like, like maybe he just didn't. I was like, not like all the time, but like, once every couple months we could have. He was like, we'll talk about it.
Y'all do an hour every week.
Yeah, we do it right at an hour, and we just like that conversation went, we just figure out kind of what it's going to be.
Yeah.
And that
Day to
episode
day.
will be out tonight. I might listen to that after I'm done editing this stuff.
Yeah.
So we've recorded 3 different times in the last 6 days because I'm going out of town. Mm-hmm. So I was like, and then we were just going to plan on having you, but then I have to edit right away. So that's why I had a leaky on Sunday. So it'll be a leaky, then you'll come out. So yeah, we're 2 weeks behind.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
Don't expect to hear yourself on Sunday or Monday. It'll be a week after.
Well,
that.
I'm going to start with episode 4.
There you go.
And
Yeah.
then burn through them until I
Oh,
get
man.
to this one.
Yeah, it won't take you much time. I think most of them are
Only-
right around 2 hours.
Yeah.
And then it's never.
It's
like
not
I said,
consistent.
we don't have.
with it.
Yeah, we don't have a schedule.
We literally stop and we're like, all right, yeah, it's time to go. It's time to stop.
yeah.
Well, that's a good stopping point.
It's time to stop because if we keep going, this could go on for 4 hours. Like I
Yeah,
said,
you're like, we could talk
Yeah.
for another 2 hours and it wouldn't slow us down a bit.
Oh, yeah,
That's
for
why you
sure.
got to keep an eye on it.
like I was telling you about. If you stick around, we'll do an SNL Light. That one will come out this Thursday, so it'll come out 2 days from now. And then this actually episode that we're recording now will be the following Sunday. That 2 Sundays from there.
Okay, well, they're going to have to get those Denver tickets. Toot sweet. They're
yeah.
going to have to really jump on
Yeah,
that.
they're going to
Yeah,
have to
but-
really jump on those.
Yeah, but our next one will come out Thursday. That's when we'll first talk about it. So in 2 days, people will know to email us.
Nice.
If
No, I
makes
say
any
that,
sense.
but I'm not even.
We promote it and then promote it again. See?
Yeah.
This is just us promoting it the first time will actually be the second time.
Right,
So if you
right.
want to see Steve Gammill, you can go to stevegammill.com to check out all his appearance times, where he's going to be, when he's going to be. But April 22nd and 23rd,
That's right. It's a
he's
Friday
going
and
to be in
Saturday.
Denver. And we're giving away 2 tickets to each show. If anybody wants to jump in on that, email us at simsandleon@gmail.com.
SIMSAND
L-E-O-N.
LEON
So you got 2
at gmail.com. Easy.
You're like, I can fucking spell anything. And then
I went,
He edits the silent part out. That's why I just let it go a little bit.
Nice.
I went,
Still edit it
I
out.
went straight up Radio Pro just now, and then you fucked it up.
yeah, you really did.
That's why we have a good editing staff.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's the
dude,
market-
I
the
also
market
did
to kick in.
my first radio interview
Yeah.
while I was in Ohio.
Like a radio.
Oh, so you did this like over the weekend?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I was just a tag along. Like I said, I was with
Gotcha.
William Lee Martin. It was really an interview for him, but he's like always includes me on everything.
That's cool.
Yeah, he's real big on letting the crowd know, like, hey, this is my co-star. This is an important part of the.
Yeah.
I do the meet and greet with him, so he's like awesome like that. And so he's like, hey, we're doing radio tomorrow. I'm like, I mean, I'll drive you. I had my car in town. I was like, yeah, we'll go together, but like you're doing radio. He's like, no, why don't you jump on there and. But all that to say, this guy was the quintessence. I mean, I gotta imagine he's a dying breed. First of all, he had the silkiest, smoothest voice, and also an encyclopedic knowledge about the music, and then he's like doing knobs and stuff with each hand, and then also like
constantly doing stuff and doing an interview.
Yeah, and doing the interview and doing the segues and telling the weather. It was like something from yesteryear to witness his. So that's what you reminded me of just now when you just smoothly
I jumped right into it.
And by the way, April 22nd and 23rd, you can find Steve on his website. Very professional. Mad respect.
I like to make it sound like we actually know what we're doing sometimes.
Oh, we do.
You have me fooled.
Well, Ricky was actually on radio.
Edit that out,
At
maybe.
one point in time, he was actually on radio.
Yeah.
They had their own little.
I
It
did
was
it-
like, what, 10? No,
20 years
wait,
ago.
20 years ago.
I was almost 20 years to the day.
Dang.
For 6 months, I just did a weekend show about video games.
Nice.
Yeah, on 105.3, a very popular station around here. It was right after.
Oh, I almost when you talked about the ticket earlier, I almost asked you, did you used to listen to 105.3 back when it was before? Because it's sports
It's
now.
sports
right?
now.
Yeah, I listened a little bit when it was.
It was like Russ Martin, Pugs and Kelly, and all them. I was on Saturdays during that time.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool.
It was right after they stopped being Young Country, and then they did so it was still KYNG when we first started there. They still had the Young Country call letters, and then they changed it halfway through our time there to KLLI Live 105.3.
Uh-huh.
And so, yeah, I used to do that.
Yeah,
I mean,
was
like a 1 hour
listening-
weekend show on Saturday. It wasn't like I was famous or making any money off of it.
Well, at that age, that's fucking.
Oh, it's awesome.
That's everything. Yeah.
You got to tell the story again because it was on probably the pilot that
Yeah.
nobody listened to.
Yeah. Don't listen to that.
About how you were in there and Russ Martin was recording next door.
So the way it started, me and my buddies at the time, I'm not really friends with them anymore. Somewhat has to do with this.
Yeah. Fuck those guys.
Yeah,
I'll say
fuck
it.
those guys. I think I've said it before. I
Yeah, how you have.
think I have. I hope y'all are listening now, assholes. Just kidding. I love y'all. We were just listening one night, and it was like 12:30 in the morning, and these random people were on there just talking and bullshit. And I was like, we could do that. It's like I was at work one day, and I was working in construction, so I just sent an email. I don't remember who I sent the email to, but I ended up getting a call back from one of the sales guys, and they told me, like, well, you have to buy time if you want to be on the weekend show. I was like, okay, well, how do you do that? It's like, well, you can get sponsorships, this and this and this, and like, how about let's set up a meeting, y'all come in and we can talk about it. It's like, all right. So me and my 4 buddies, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, me and my 4 buddies go up there, and we're sitting in the room with the program director and the head sales guy, and they just basically interviewing us to see what we're interested in. And while we're in there, how often did you listen to the Russ Martin show?
The Russ Martin show missed me, and we could talk about that later if
Yeah,
you want.
I
We can
like to
talk-
talk about that. I'm a Russ Martin fan.
We
so
can
yeah.
talk about it now.
Well, I'll just say really quick. Basically, I had one of my best friends in the world was like obsessed with it. He's like, dude, you love comedy. This is the funniest show ever. And I listened to it, and it's like, I don't know how many years it had been on the air, but it had the hugest following, whatever. So it's all inside jokes.
Yeah.
It's all dead air, which is another inside joke.
There is a
And
lot
then
of dead air on that show,
Yeah,
or
everybody,
was.
you know all the characters. You know why this guy's getting made fun of for this reason. And so it's like a lot of, I'm like, I'm going to have to listen to a few episodes to get what the fuck everyone's laughing at, because it's all a reference to, some story that's been told and retold. And I listened to several episodes. It was like, I still have no idea what the joke is that they're referencing.
He always called it the treehouse, and now, he died, right?
Yeah.
He's
yeah.
gone.
Good
So now
riddance.
It was a year ago last month.
Yeah. Probably a year and 3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
Because right around my birthday.
27th.
So now they changed their show name to the Treehouse, which is what
Oh,
Russ
yeah.
always said it was.
For
like,
legal reasons.
For legal reasons. What kind of legal reasons is that? So anyways, a guy named Eddie was on his show at the time, and he literally, while we're in the conference room, the studio is attached to the conference room with a window. Like a window, you can see the actual studio, them recording. I was like, this is pretty cool. 'Cause
Yeah, that's awesome.
I was a fan of just talk radio in general and a fan of Russ Martin. And Eddie came over there, pulled out his 9mm and just tapped it on the glass and shook his head at it. It's like, what the fuck, man? So we sat in this meeting, and like they're telling us, like, it's not just about turning on microphones and talking. You have to prepare for it. You have to do this and this and this. Make sure you have everything set up and ready to go. And then they started asking us like what we're interested in. We talked a little bit about it. He's like, every show has to have a theme. I was like, does it? was like, yeah, Russ Martin's theme is cars and hot girls. Like, that's not really a theme for a radio show. That's
not a theme.
That's two random things you put together that he's talked about.
Yeah.
And then one of my buddies who didn't say a word the entire time says, we like to play video games, which at that time, I played one video game.
Yeah, you weren't a serious gamer. That wasn't your identity.
The program director, Bob McNeil, he like lit up. He's like, I don't think there's any kind of show out there about video games. And there wasn't. At this time, there was nothing.
Yeah, it wasn't a huge subculture.
Yeah. So he told us, like, come up with 3 show ideas. And if I like them, I'll put you all on the air overnight. That way you don't get recording and start trying to sell the show. So I spent a lot of time just putting these shows together. Like 1 hour show, put in 3 separate segments, and did a presentation, got a presentation ready to sell it to him. And then I told him the last bit I came up with was, we're going to interview Mario, the godfather
the ultimate
of video games.
Yeah.
And do you remember the first time Mario was actually on a video game where he spoke?
Where he spoke?
Yeah, where he actually, his voice came out.
What did he say? It's a me, Mario?
No, that's what most people think. But if you ever watch Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, he's the ref.
Oh, yeah.
So, but when he's counting,
is that necessarily Mario, or
I don't
is
know,
that
but I claimed,
Italian guy?
I claimed it in my story to sell this, and I was like, so now the first time you hear him talk, he doesn't actually use words; he just mumbles, huh. That's how he counted. That's how he counted up to 10. It's like, we're going to do this to where I ask him questions, he answers back and mumbles, and then we translate it. And we have a translator, and Bob loved that idea. He's like,
that's
all right.
genius, man.
So then he told us, like, what are y'all doing next Saturday at 6? I was like, whatever you want us to do. So we had a radio show.
How old are you at this point?
21.
Okay.
So we ended up.
So this is basically the coolest thing that could happen to you at this time. Yeah.
So we ended up doing that for about 6 months, and so much fun. Like, we got a little following, and then I don't want to talk about why it ended. Have I told you, Dustin?
I think so.
Oh, fuck it, I'll say it. No, nobody's going back to listen to the pilot episode.
Yeah.
Or whenever. I don't even think I told this on the pilot. I think it was
You probably.
a time you and Mikey were just bullshitting and talking.
Oh, that's right.
And
Yeah,
it never
yeah.
came out. So the day before we went on the air the first time, we also had to supply our own phone girl. Whoever was answering the phone.
Okay.
I call it a phone girl. It didn't have to be a girl. In
Yeah.
our minds, it did.
This was 20 years ago, folks.
20 years
Everyone
ago.
chill out.
Yeah, calm down.
So
They happened to all be female at that time.
Women's rights.
I'll even tell you even further into the story of how we got big listeners because of something she did. So we're at IHOP the night before our first show, and she was just friendly. She was nice, just like most IHOP waitresses are. She was young. That's where the difference was. Mm-hmm. Like, she was super young. Not say super
She
young.
wasn't smoking while she waited on you, and
Not while she was waiting on us, no. And then we asked her, like, hey, what are you doing tomorrow? Do you want to come answer phones for us? She was like, sure. So she came and answered phones for us, and she became our phone girl. We called her Trinity. Mm-hmm. Her real name was Beverly, which is very country. Like, it's not Beverly, Beverly.
Yeah.
And that's not like
Beverly.
It wasn't short for Beverly. It was just Beverly. Bevly. And then
sometimes you don't have fucking time for that extra syllable.
sometimes
You know
you
what I mean?
don't. And I've told you this before. I hate nicknames.
Yeah.
So we'd call her Trinity on the show all the time, and then I would slip up because me and her we kind of became friends, and so I'd end up slipping up and calling her Beverly. Like, motherfucker. And to this day, we have a couple of people that come on use fake names because they're profession, and I always slip. Like, that is one thing I do edit out every time.
Yeah.
Is when I slip up and say someone's name. So we're not going to say your real name. We'll just keep calling you Steve.
There you go.
So there was one day, and this girl.
My real name is Stevely.
Stanley. Jesus.
Yeah, you said fuck the extra syllable too. You're like, I'm not Steven, I'm Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. So she had really nice tits, and one day Russ Martin was on the air, and we were up there picking up our CD for the week's previous show because we collected it. I wanted every bit of audio we could have on it, and I still have it, most of it. There's one episode we didn't get, and I talked her into going to flash Russ Martin. I was like, just push your tits right up against the window
While he was on air.
while he was on air.
Nice.
So
Oh, damn. I didn't know. I don't think I've heard this.
So the way it was set up, you had the conference room with a big window, but walking towards the conference room, you had the studio door that had a window on it. And right before the studio door, you had the room where whoever's answering phones and doing phone screening stuff is right there with a window going into the studio. I don't know if I'm describing that well enough to make sense. So
Sounds
she just
good to
went
me.
up to the window, and we told Dan he was a guy, not O'Malley,
Not
a different
Dan.
one.
Yeah.
Dan Lewis.
Dan Lewis. Yeah.
He was the guy answering the phones at the time. And we told him what we're going to do. He's like, I think that's a great idea. So she went up there, pushed her tits up against the window, and the reaction of everybody in that room was like, just, holy shit, I can't believe this just happened. Like, who is this? And Dan says, oh, that's the phone girl from the game show that's on Saturdays at 6 p.m. every Saturday. I was like, all right. And then another guy that was on the show, J.D. Ryan, he came through, and she was
I remember him from the show, yeah.
She was so embarrassed at this time, she just went and hid. She we're in the little producer room right next door, not the producer room, but like a editing room. Right next door to where Dan Lewis was, and she went and hid under a counter. She's like, I can't believe I just did that. And then JD comes by and is like, dude, y'all are geniuses. That's great.
That's the best self-promotion you could have done.
That Saturday, we went from not having phone calls to phones lit up. Like, I couldn't tell you how many people we had listening, but our phones lit up from the time we got on the air till the time we were off the air.
They're like,
so
all right,
did Russ talk about it?
You want me to patch you through to Ricky? They're like, no, we just want to talk to you.
We just want to talk to you. Russ didn't really talk about it much except when
it happened.
When it happened, and then Dan said that's the girl from the game show that's on Saturdays at 7. I was like, all right, that's pretty awesome because Russ Martin has a huge following.
Yeah.
And I rode the elevator with him once. I think I told you this. I can't tell you what he said to me.
Okay.
Because he swore me to secrecy.
Oh, really? Well, he's dead now. So.
Oh, good point. He got in there. He had his bag.
Good point.
He was going up to the studio, about to get ready to start his show. And he's like, what are you doing here? I was like, oh, I'm here to pick up tape. We do that game show. He's like, don't ever tell anyone I said this, but what y'all are doing is pretty fucking awesome. I was like, all right. Because he always talks about you have to start at a little stage and work your way up. Start in a little town. But he always said that. He's like, nobody should be able to just jump into it. But the process that we actually went through, he kind of respected it because we didn't get a job there and just suck ass to get on the air.
Yeah, that's the normal back in those days. That would have been the path. Get an internship, get some sort of technical job, and then try and weasel your way on the air.
We literally built 3 shows that showed that we were committed to it, or show that I was committed to it. We'd get the work done. We'd be entertaining. And that little bit we did with Russ, we're putting her tits on the window. Solidified. I think that's
a bit of a Hail Mary, but it worked out good.
I think it solidified her for him. I think that solidified it for Russ. He's like, okay, these guys aren't dumb. They're not just weaseling the way in. They're actually doing shit to
when
get
you
this
do
thing
your
done.
Howard Stern Private Parts-esque biopic. That's going to be the big scene.
Yeah, so that's no
that
podcast.
Starts the musical montage of you guys getting bigger and bigger.
So we're about 3 months into it, and we're leaving the studio. We're all piled up in my little Focus at the time, and Beverly gets a phone call, so she answers it, and we can hear everything going on, every part of the conversation. And they ask her, the guy on the other end of the phone asks her, "Are they still fucking you over?" And I lit up. So as soon as she got off the phone, she's like, "How are we fucking you over?" It's like, "Well, I just want more airtime." Blah 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 blah. And I was like,
oh, he was responding to something she had told him.
Yes.
Like, yeah, the show's going good, but they're fucking me.
Yeah.
I'm just a phone girl.
And that's basically what she says. Like, there's already 4 of us in here talking. We let you talk a little bit here and there. Just answer the fucking phones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so then another buddy of ours came in from College Station because school was over, so he's here for the summer. He's like, "You want to be our phone bitch?" He's like, "Sure." 3 months into that, he starts doing the same fucking thing. I want more airtime, and
God.
I don't blame them at all because we're having fun in there.
Yeah.
You have all of us in the studio just laughing, having fun, bullshitting about video games, and you have the little lonely phone person in a different room with the window blocking it. And so okay.
Well, it's better than IHOP, is it? I mean,
Well, yeah. Well, she didn't realize it. Now she went back to IHOP. So the guy from A&M, it was fuck it, Justin.
I mean, there's a million Justins out there.
Yeah. I was fucking with him a lot because they also let me like run the board a little bit. Mm-hmm. So we started doing this thing where we did a video game trivia question of the week. And then we'd give out like a $5 gift card to some restaurant and a free queso. Just dumb shit. And I was like, all right, you can be in charge of asking the question. So like, all right, we're going to go to Justin for our trivia question of the week. And as soon as he started talking, I would just slowly turn him down. So he fades away. And then we just jump back into our own conversation. So I think that pissed him off a little bit. But he wasn't really mad about it. I understood. He wanted more airtime, so we gave him that. And I just kept fucking with him. But I don't think he was actually mad at it. He found it as a good bit.
Mm-hmm.
But then
that didn't change the fact that he wanted
more airtime.
Right.
Yeah,
and then we started talking about it. It was like, well, maybe we can ask for an extra hour of airtime. We do 2 hours because now we're actually getting commercials on our show that is not just the generic station commercials. Like we have Budweiser, Bud Light commercials coming on. They don't just pay for a random weekend spot just to be thrown out there. We're doing something right. Somebody sold this to them.
Yeah.
It wasn't us, but somebody did. So somebody's making money. It's not us. Whatever. I'm just here to have fun. I don't give a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
So we start talking about, let's ask for another hour of showtime. Maybe we can move to Sunday because there was a promotional thing after us, so we couldn't have that hour. And then I emailed the program director a couple of times, didn't get a response. I gave him a phone call, no response. And then one day, the phone bitch Justin wrote out a long letter saying how disrespectful it was. 'Cause he asked me, he's like, give me his email address. I'll email him. I was like, no, you're the phone girl. Don't talk to anybody.
You're the phone girl.
So he wrote this long fucking letter out, typed it out. I was like, I'm going to put it in Bob McNeil's box. I read it. I was like, don't do that, man. Like, pretty much calling him a dickhead. He didn't say dickhead, but saying it's shitty of you to not return our calls, at least show us some respect to this and this and this. And on a full 24-hour talk radio station, we got replaced by music the next week. We're off the website, everything. And then it wasn't until a few years later I actually talked to Bob about it. Mm-hmm. And he was like, well, I consider that your show. You're the one that always talked to us. You're the one that communicated between me and you. So when I saw that letter, I didn't care whose name was on it. That was coming from you. And I was like, fair enough.
Well, you did see it before it got submitted.
And I told him not to. I was like, don't leave it. And all the other guys like, what's the worst that can happen? I was like, what do you mean what's the worst that can happen?
Exactly what happened.
I know what's the worst that can happen. And then it happened. I was like, shouldn't have left the letter. And then this is why we're not really friends anymore, because all of them were like, we don't want to point it out and just blame one person for this. Like, how can you not? You're right, because everyone said leave the letter, so I blame all of you motherfuckers.
You can point out one person whose fault it isn't.
Yes, I'm the one who said don't leave the fucking letter. Let's be happy with our 1 hour show and keep doing it because it's fun. So that's how that story ended.
And you said, you know what? I'm going to bide my time. As soon as there's a new medium for radio shows,
Yeah. Well, then they got
I'm
mad
going
at
to wait
me.
10 years longer after that.
Yeah.
And
Well,
start one of those.
so you don't know about 10 years ago either.
But so then after that happened, they got mad at me because he left a video game at my house. So I lived in Burleson. I lived in Mansfield. They all lived here in Burleson. I can't say that for sure. I don't know if they all lived in Burleson, but fucking he did. And he's like, and he asked me one day, I was like, hey, can you take that game back for me so I don't get late for you? He was like, yeah, sure. And I never did. Like, eventually they came back over to my house, like, and he like went to where he knew exactly where it was. Like, I thought you said you took it back. He's like, no, I said I was going to take it back. And
Not when.
Eventually I might, but not yet.
Not yet.
You got to pay for that fucking mistake you made. And that was really the last time I talked to him,
Oh, damn.
which I'm fine with. If people are not benefiting my life, what's the point of having them around, you know? As shitty as that sounds, but I would want them to be the same for me. I want them to feel the same for me. If I'm not benefiting you, even if it's just like someone to have a conversation with, then I don't need them in my life, especially if they're negatively or causing, I don't know what I'm trying to say here.
Yeah, even if they're not. When you're 40, 41?
Yeah, 41.
Yeah.
Just turned 41.
I mean, at that point, when you're younger, you have time to have 50 close friends or 20 close friends
Yeah.
and 50 people that you regularly hang out with.
Yeah.
When you're our age,
It's like 3.
yeah, you're lucky if you get 3 to 5.
For me, it's like all families and maybe like 1 or 2 more. That's basically it.
Yeah. I mean, you're right.
I'd say a handful of actual close friends that I feel like I can count on besides my family. That's crazy how that works out.
right.
Yeah, imagine not being in the town you live in every weekend when all your friends who work real jobs that's their time to party.
Yeah. How often do you travel now?
All the time. Yeah, I've got actually the next 2 weekends I'm at home. One because my wife's job is heating up and she needs me around to take care of the kids and stuff. And then the next weekend is just one I didn't get booked for, and I've been on the road 5 weeks in a row, and then I got another 6 after that. So this next 2 weeks is gonna be
Nice. You're going to relax a little bit.
maybe I'll probably more just do stuff around the house, or
We can write new jokes.
There you go.
that's really what I need. I need to hit up open mics every single night and
So, yeah, how do open mics work? Are you popular enough around here that where you could show up and like, hey, I want to be on today, or does it have to be an open mic night?
At Hyenas, I could get a guest spot.
Okay.
And just be like, hey, can I hop up there on a Thursday and you do 5 to 10? Buddy of mine did that recently, and they just gave him a full set. They were like, his name's Ralph Barbosa. He's awesome. But he's like, yeah, I got some new material I'm really excited about. And the owner of Hyenas was like, just get up there and do 20 then. And so there's stuff like that. But, really when you're working on stuff, you want those 5 and 10 minute chunks of just like start out with a joke that works, maybe end with a joke that you already use, and then everything else in the middle.
Kind of new.
Yeah.
So I watched a documentary about the Comedy Store. I think it's on Netflix. I don't know. It's on Amazon. Why do I bring this shit up when I don't know the fucking answer to my own question? So
It's on Netflix. It's on Amazon.
It's
Could
on
be either
something.
one.
It's a docu-series about the Comedy Store.
Mm-hmm.
And part of it, they talk about the late night comics that come in late and will just stay up there for hours working on stuff with like 3 people in the crowd.
Yeah, they're famous enough to where they can bump in.
Yeah.
But they don't really need a lot of it. I'm talking out of my ass as far as people that are being able to bump in at the Comedy Store. But a lot of it, I think, is not even like, let me tell this joke and see if people laugh. It's a lot of it is just hearing yourself really do it in front of an audience.
Yeah.
For you to kind of be able to tell
Well,
that
that makes sense.
it might be something. So I think that's how those, like
Yeah.
Chappelle could go up.
And just go on and on.
And people could just be staring at him like, what is he talking about? But as he's saying it, he maybe knows that it could be a good bit.
So when you're working on material, do you think it's easier to work with a big crowd or a small crowd?
For me, it's like I've had a lot of success like coming up with something, doing it at one open mic, kind of like I'm talking about, hearing myself say it out loud and being like, yeah, that's something. And then the next time I'm doing a weekend show, throwing it in there, throw it in the middle where it can't fuck anything up too bad. Because an open mic, a lot of time, the audience is either so small or they're not really paying attention or
like they know it's an open mic night. They're not coming to see a certain specific comic, so they know it's kind of people trying stuff out anyways.
Yeah. So sometimes you could try a joke at 4 different open mics and it eats shit 4 times and you're like, I fucking know that's a good joke. And then you try it on stage and it does great in front of a real crowd. So it's kind of tough to gauge, but yeah, I would say... And that's the thing about moving to New York or LA.
Yeah.
Which I'm maybe at the point where I could be, if I wasn't tied to DFW, I could consider that. But I'm more talking about if you're an established comic and you get to go up at the Comedy Store or the Cellar or the Stand or any of these places where they do the shorter sets.
Okay.
So that's their version of an open mic, but there's a real... That's why like we talked about Segura and all these guys that are able to write that much is because their version of an open mic could be 300 people in the crowd fully paying attention and full, you know what I mean? So they get a real reaction of how a bit will work in front of a real crowd.
Yeah, do you think like the big ones like Segura, Chappelle, when they go in there and just start, Chris Rock, when they just start doing new material in front of a crowd that did not expect them to be there, is there a better chance they're going to get laughs at jokes that don't really hit just because of who they are?
Yes. Yeah, that's even Bill Burr, and this is just what I've heard from podcasts and stuff. Bill Burr will dig himself into a hole on purpose, kind of even piss the audience off a little bit. That way he gets a more honest reaction.
Yeah.
If he just comes out there, does 3 jokes in a row that he knows kill, and now he's killing, and then he tries some new stuff, which is what I would do.
Yeah.
Then he can just say anything. It's going to get a laugh.
Yeah.
It's going to get an applause. People are just happy to see him.
Makes sense.
So he'll go up there and be like, yeah, so the Holocaust wasn't real. And we're like, what the fuck? And then he's like, anyways, so my daughter the other day, and then I've heard that Chris Rock will do, because he's such a high energy kind of animated performer when he does stand up, he'll do all of his new material completely deadpan, like just read the words to you.
Oh.
And he'll judge, because he knows if he really sells it, like he knows how to, it's going to kill no matter what. It's going to get laughs no matter what. So he kind of goes, hey, blah, 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 blah. Is that something? And people are like, and he kind of make a little note next to it or whatever. So he has to purposely be bad at telling jokes to get some kind of honest reaction.
That kind of makes sense.
It does.
All right, I got to pee.
Yeah, let's take a small break.
You
I
down
gotta
with a small
refill.
break?
Sure, yeah.
I got to refill.
I'm not going to hit any buttons. I'll chat a minute later. Well, I got to turn the
we
volume up and shit. Hold on.
Well, hit it because it does it for us.
Actually, that was pretty good volume. Let's do that again. We'll have it twice.
All right, there you go.
Oh, wait, since I skipped them last week, we'll have this one in there twice.
Hi, I'm Elena Sims, a Vice President at Community National Mortgage. I'm here to take care of all of your lending needs to finance your next home. Whether you're purchasing an existing home or working with a builder, I can help. For application information, you can visit my Facebook page at TX Lending Made Easy.
Elena Sims, NMLS 1193345.
Your mom's favorite equal housing lender.
This episode also brought to you by 625 Custom Sports Apparel. 625 is a full-service design shop specializing in sports apparel. Their crew can do anything from a team or company logo to full-on uniforms. If you want shirts, koozies, hats, leggings, socks, 625 is who you want to use. They specialize in sports apparel but do so much more. If you want to get quality shirts for your team or maybe even a family reunion, you will get the best quality guys. Levi's can give you great apparel and create even better logos. 90% of my clothing line was created by 625 Custom Sports Apparel. Kickball teams, work shirts, and everyday clothing. Our guys over at NTX Fire wear 625 products because they love the comfort and quality of the material. Whether you're on the field or in construction, 625 Apparel holds up. You can visit their website at vixxv.com for more information and to see their featured collections. There's also a link on our website, simsleon.com, to get to theirs.
625 Design, your mom's #1 supplier of the Anti-Social Moms Club hoodie.
Because that's
One thing I didn't say is it was very funny because she was not pretty, but she had a fucking fantastic body. So you know what they call those people? Butterface.
Yeah, Butterface.
And then she brought it up about someone else, like, "Oh, that girl's a butterface." Like, do you not know?
Do you not know?
Have you not looked in the mirror?
Y'all told her?
No, I didn't. I was like,
oh, that's hilarious.
I'm not gonna tell. That's why I wanted to say that. I was like, I'm gonna keep that one to myself because you never know if she might be listening.
Yeah, you know, girls, that's probably tough to find out. All you know is that men want you. They don't specifically tell you, you know what, I could do without.
I started recording before I said that, so might as well leave it in, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Hey, you didn't play the intro.
I can play it now. You can always add it in later too.
Well, I know. It's all the vibe.
Okay, so you said when you do your podcast, y'all don't wear the cans.
Yeah, we probably
Headsets.
should, but yeah.
So here's why I like it. The first, because you can hear the audio options for like me or Dustin, or Rooster, whoever's running the boards, running our board. What can we call it, a board?
I think there's so many things that don't really
We
make
have
sense.
multiple.
We always say you're on the air. There's a lot of things you say that don't really make sense for a podcast, but it's just you don't know what else to say.
So
It's just radio, lingo in general.
I like it because I feel like when you have the headset on and you hear yourself talking and other people talking, you're more conscious of talking over somebody.
Yeah.
Like if it's just two people, it's not, you don't have that problem as much. But when you have three people or two people and then someone on a phone or something, you can easily get carried. Well, I guess we have someone on the phone, you have to wear the headsets. But yeah, if you have there's three of us here.
Yeah.
If we didn't have the headsets on, we wouldn't even notice when we were talking over each other because nobody's actually listening.
Yeah, because
to it.
that's how a normal conversation kind of goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also, a lot of the times I'll listen back to the episode and be like, next week I'm going to get a little bit closer to the mic because he's like just a little bit louder than I am. But like I said, it's a fucking...
Like Dustin, he's super quiet anyways. So, but we can't turn his mic up because then his mic will pick me
It
up.
feeds off him all the time. We've recently repositioned our mics.
Yeah, we're testing something. Hey, here's something else about how our mics are positioned. Look where you're sitting. Look at the view you have. You can see out a window. You got nice natural daylight. Dustin's facing me. He's got the big garage door open. He can see all the nice outside. I'm looking at a fucking wall and cabinets.
You're looking at this egg crate material
Lovely.
that's keeping your loud ass voice
Hey,
from
you know what?
ricocheting all around
They
this
keep it
room.
from bouncing back.
Yeah.
We've tried. We've got,
Yeah, we're trying to look professional.
It is, from where I'm sitting, it's pretty
I tell you what,
professional.
those pads are so fucking cheap too.
yeah.
Like I think we had 100 of them for like.
I still have some
$50.
that. So hold on. Here's the
80%
thing.
of them sitting over there
Here's
not
the thing.
used.
Here's the thing. All those were on the garage door, but we recently got a new garage door. Not going to
okay.
tell you why.
Oh damn it! I was hoping you would. I was like 3 weeks ago he didn't want to tell the story. 'cause he
I'm
was
still
still
not
angry
telling the
about
story.
it.
Still not telling the
I'm
story.
just going to draw my own conclusions. It's going to be worse than whatever actually happened.
Yeah, I'll show you a picture.
I'll involve you trying to fix a truck.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that where it
That's
started?
why the studio truck's gone. So normally the green truck out there, the Ford,
One of the
normally-
trucks that's out there. Like when I
right
texted
here.
you earlier, I said there's going to be a white truck in the drive. At first, I would say look for the house with all the trucks. And if you're coming from that way, then you
Oh
see the
my
house with all the
God.
like monster trucks. Like I
Yeah,
didn't want you
not
to pull
that
in there.
one.
Like
Yeah,
I'm
not
here
that one.
podcast. I'm like, fuck you, man.
Yeah, we can't let them know about the podcast because they would be over here. Luckily, we're just lucky they're not testing out those things like they were last night.
Yeah, those
They're
things
getting
get
ready
loud.
for rednecks with paychecks up there.
Oh yeah,
And so last night I
they do
sent
seem like
Ricky-
they are that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they don't have the giant camper in the driveway. Thank
Yeah.
God.
They've
Oh
already
my God.
they've already sent that out there.
Yeah, it goes out once a year. This bad boy it almost sticks out in the street, and they take it out once a year. They got to air the tires and all that shit just to get it out of the driveway, and it's gone. And so now they have those big ass monster trucks, and they've been firing those. They fired it up last night, and I sent Ricky a Snapchat. I'm like, hope these motherfuckers aren't going to test them out tonight or tomorrow night.
Yeah, that would be just my luck. I was trying to film a cooking thing, and like the cooking part is easy, and I overdub, as I'm like afterwards. But I was filming an intro, and it's maybe I don't know a minute of me talking, but it was taking several takes, and I'm like, I feel stupid doing that and trying to act like I'm taking myself seriously. So I'm like. Also, my wife was home. I made her go out on the front porch and smoke cigarettes and be on her phone so that I could be the only one in the house. So I'm like, hey, gang, thanks for tuning in to my YouTube channel that no one watches. So I'm doing this cooking thing, and I finally nail this take. And I'm about to be like, all right, let's get started, or whatever the segue is. And that's I don't want to tell you too much about my neighborhood, but that sound was not out of place on my street. Just some dude just tuning up, not even whatever badass shit these guys down the street
I don't know
have.
about badass.
Just a regular F-150 that some kid was like, let's see how loud this truck. Yeah.
I'll tell you this: the shadow of the microphone and Steve on there is pretty badass. So I guess now I do have a view. You have to come in every week to have a view.
You've got my
Your
nose.
shadow. So in one of your TikTok videos, you're making a pizza. Did you work at a pizza place?
No, that's I did used to be a cook, but
Okay.
I worked at all kind of like steakhouse kind of
Ooh,
places.
fancy.
Like he was tossing that shit up in there, and his camera angle wasn't right, so we couldn't actually see it. So he may not have actually been tossing it up in the air.
Somebody else is catching it and twirling it for him.
He could have just used the camera angle as an excuse. I don't know, but it did look pretty awesome. Like
Yeah, the next pizza one I do, believe you me, I'm gonna make it a point to get. What actually happened was she won't listen to this, but my wife was supposed to. I can film everything else just on a tripod, but for that part, I needed to kind of move around, and I wouldn't be able to. So I thought. Anyways, long story short, she's on the phone talking to her cousin, who's also her best friend. She's having cocktails. She's chain smoking, but I kept telling her like, okay, I'm gonna be doing this, and then it has to proof and this and that. So around like 10:30 is when I'm gonna need you to help with the video, and
She's gone.
well, long story short, she was asleep by like 10:45, and at 10:30 I was like, okay, hon, are you ready? I just need you can keep it on the tripod, but you just need to kind of move it to where I'm in the frame.
Yeah.
And she was like, I was like, you can't stand up that good, let alone work a camera.
So she might have had a few cocktails then, or something along those lines.
Yeah, she. I don't know. That conversation must have been good with her cousin, but so I was like, I
On
can
the
just
phone,
fucking,
I
I can
guess.
just do it on my own, and I didn't realize I hadn't backed it up enough to. But I kind of want that. I mean, we'll see
That's what she said.
where it goes, but I kind of want that to be the charm of the food because I'm so bad at technology and editing and all that. So I'm never going to be great at it. I might as well make fun of how bad it is.
Oh,
just
that's
don't
the best
understand.
way to do it. Yeah.
How all these women pick up TikTok like it's nothing. Like, there's so many videos out there, and it takes them so little time.
You don't know that.
To edit it? Oh, well. I've heard
You don't know how many
stories.
takes that dance took and all that, but
I've heard stories. But you're right. You don't. I guess that's what technology
But
does
it's also
for you.
just a generational thing. If all your friends
right.
are doing something
You're right.
and you can just
Definitely
go, hey, how do
generational.
you get it? And they go, oh, I bought this tripod where it doesn't shake or whatever the.
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
But yeah, I'm not even of a generation where I should be baffled by the simplest technology. That's just
Yeah.
who I am as a person.
Yeah, I feel like you really should be on par with most of it. But I guess it kind of makes sense. It does not make sense at all.
No. So Ricky's recently has new headphones. All right, and they're a lot smaller.
Normally I have those or those on.
And his head proportion and the headphones are really off. I'm just saying.
Listen,
Because I got a big head. Sometimes my words don't work. That was one of those times. I have a big head anyways, so what?
so you just said it out loud, but that's all I've been thinking since we started.
Are you
No,
serious?
I'm kidding.
These came in today. I ordered them on Amazon. I was like, I ordered them a few days ago. They're like, they'll be here on Tuesday. Like, well, shit. Now I'm not sure if I'll have them ready for when Steve comes in. And then they're supposed to be here by 1 o'clock today. I was like, all right, cool. Then it said they'll be here by 1:30. I was like, oh, they're not coming. I know
Yeah.
how Amazon works.
Automatically assume, yeah.
Once you change the time once, they're not coming.
Yeah.
And
You're
then
like, it's going to be Thursday at this point.
yeah, and then I looked again, and it was like, they'll be here by 10. I was like, yeah, they're not coming. Then they showed up. I was like, all right. So I pulled them out, and they're tiny. I was like, these little fucking things?
Well, they're great if you were just listening to music, but you picture,
Well,
you know,
it's for studio monitoring, professional. I mean, you're right. It's great for listening to music.
But they're just not the
I
same.
mean, those aren't
as you
even
normally
cans.
wear.
Those are like
No.
those are like the little 8-ounce Bud Light cans. To make your hands look awesome.
The miniature cans on my head. Are you not quiet? Can you hear us?
Did you want me to record stuff for TikTok?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
I can do
We
that.
got
As
our,
long as everybody's okay with it.
we got our tech lady in.
Oh boy.
Yeah. We'll get TikTok
We'll
and
just
Instagram videos. Then we
Make
can,
sure you get him Ricky's new headphones and his big head,
Can I
small
put the
headphones.
Can I put the other headphones on for this?
Oh,
Not now.
not now.
Dustin won't let me.
We're gonna be legit.
As long as you're okay with it.
Hold
I
on.
wanna post
Do
it
you
for-
see any issue with his headphones?
I mean, I'm wishing I didn't look like I just woke up, but
You do
I'm
not.
totally. I have not unpacked and done laundry. Actually, one of my suitcases is still in my car from getting off the road on
In
Sunday.
Ohio.
Yeah.
So did
well,
y'all fly out?
No, I drove there.
Oh, you drove?
So the way it kind
Yeah,
of
he said earlier he had his car there.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
the way it kind of worked out is that guy William Lee Martin that I travel
Do a
with.
couple of videos or whatever.
Okay, I'll do short ones.
Okay.
So if we're doing a little theater in Austin or Waco
Right.
or something, he'll drive, or sometimes he flies me out. But whatever, he pays my per diem, my
Right.
expensive, my lodging, whatever. And so with the club things, I really wanted to do it because I really wanted to work at the Funny Bone, the Improv. So it's like, hey, can I feature for you? And he's like, you can. I would love to have you feature, but they're just paying me club money. I can't pay your way. I can't fly you out there. And I was like, so just to be clear, if I pay my own expenses, I can go work this Funny Bone weekend with you. He's
Yeah.
like, yeah, absolutely. So it's 14 and a half hours just drive time if you don't stop for gas or to piss or to eat. So I did like 16. I did like 16 or 17 hours on Thursday and Sunday to do 3 shows. They didn't even have a second show Friday.
Dang.
Oh, jeez.
So yesterday was basically just a recovery day. I stayed pretty much in the fetal position and ate pizza.
So
and-
no Uber Eats yesterday. You weren't delivering food.
No, I didn't do
No,
shit.
he had food delivered to him.
Actually, I still that's a bald faced lie. I still baked homemade bread and made hoagies out of it.
Homemade bread.
Yeah.
So you're a baker.
Yes, I guess that's kind of the second obsession, is the cooking / baking.
Nice.
I like all kinds of cooking, but I suck at like barbecue and some of the other stuff. So baking is kind of one of the.
The pizzas I've seen you on your Instagram and on TikTok look fucking amazing.
That's kind of becoming my specialty.
And you just cook them in the oven. It's like you don't have a special pizza oven or anything like that. You just throw them in the oven.
The only thing that I have is a big piece of
Yeah.
steel that I put them on.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's actually a convection oven works really well with that, and I don't even have that. But
Well, as you can see, the studio oven over there almost set the place on fire. a
Yeah,
couple-
we
couple
almost
weeks
lost the
ago.
studio not too
Almost
long
lost
ago.
I
the
did see you
studio.
have a Blackstone though. That I'm super jealous
Oh,
of. That's
yeah.
one of the cooking. I don't have a.
I don't use that enough, to be honest. I really need to use it a lot more.
I'd be fucking cooking breakfast every day on
Oh,
that shit.
that thing is a breakfast cooking fucking machine.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that I really love to cook is breakfast, because you can't really fuck that up too much. You know, you got sausage on there, you got the eggs, you got
Yeah,
that
yeah.
shit. You can't really fuck it up too much, and that's Yeah, breakfast. You're right. You can make anything you want to. You can be fucking.
You make a lot
go
of-
into an omelet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, all you gotta do is just pile the shit on there, and you're like, yep. You're like at the hibachi.
Yeah. It makes you look fucking
I saw
cool.
this TikTok today. This guy, he's cooking hot dogs and he's got steaks on there, and they're talking about the hibachi. He's like, "Oh, steak and chicken!" He takes a hot dog and
Throws
it
it at
hands
somebody?
over to his buddy, and he has the hot dog, and it fucking hits him in the face. He's like, "Open your mouth! Open your mouth!" And he like opens his mouth and it hits him in the side of the fucking head. I was like, "That's pretty awesome."
That's hilarious.
That is very hilarious. I
Oh,
want
they
that.
get us.
I want the
And we're
black-
gonna pretend that it was an Asian person doing that accent. That way, it's
Yeah.
not problematic on the
Yeah,
pod.
I'll edit that out.
Hey, we
That's
had a
what this
very
episode's
big
gonna be
Asian.
called.
We have a
Oh,
very
that-
big
that's a
Asian
great
following.
idea.
From Asia. How many views we got from Asia?
17.
Or listens. 17.
Yeah.
He knew the exact number.
He does. I'm telling you, this guy, like you said earlier, he's obsessed.
Yeah, I would be.
Oh my goodness. So how long? Well, I was going to ask you something else, but I'll jump ahead to my next question. How long are your sets normally?
I'm doing 25 most of the time now.
25.
Yeah, the Looney Bin is 30 for some reason for the feature.
So is that kind of common for most places, or is it shorter when you first start out and you slowly graduate to that? Or,
Well,
you know,
I just
whatever?
got moved up at Hyenas from MC to feature,
Okay.
and so I kind of just made a decision. Like if some random club in San Antonio was like, "Hey, do you want to MC this weekend?" Actually, now that I'm saying it out loud, I probably would. But I told myself, well, like, you're done.
You want your week off?
Well, not that, but I wanted to be done being
done
the
MC. I got you.
MC.
So what is that all? What all do you do when you're MCing? Are you like introducing other comics? And
Yeah, so you run the whole show.
did I say that funny? Comics.
You did.
I did.
You did. You
I-
did a leaky thing.
I
Cigarettes.
caught myself. Yeah. So we had a leaky on, and she was talking about. I don't even know what she was talking about. She
I
kept
don't
saying
know.
cigarettes.
And I'm the one.
Cigarettes.
I asked Ricky. I was like, "So I'm just gonna bring this up, but did leaky not just say cigarettes? It's weird."
And he's like, oh my God,
Yeah.
So now that's my favorite way to say cigarettes.
Cigarettes.
That's like those people that call it McDonald's or guitar.
Damn.
Guitar.
McDonald's. McDonald's.
So
is everywhere.
Comex.
Comics. So you're as an MC, you're bringing up other comics, and you just kind of riff in
Comets.
between each one.
Comets.
No, you don't do any time. That's very rare that
Okay.
they specifically don't want you to say anything except for announcements about the club. Maybe give it up for
Yeah.
the wait staff, all that stuff. But you introduce everybody that goes up, and then at the end of the show, you take the headliner off. You tell people, have a good night, go buy the merch, all that stuff. But the other thing is that it's the toughest set because not only do you go up cold, the crowd's not already warmed up, but a lot of times
It's your
the
job to warm them up.
yeah, that's your whole job
Oh.
as the MC. So if you don't fucking kill it and you're off stage and you're like, fuck, I really wanted to fucking just murder, and they're like, no, you did fine. You warmed them up for the next person. That's your job. You did good.
So if you completely bomb as an MC, do the other comics following you kind of hate you that night?
I don't think so.
Or
really.
or could they be like, okay?
I mean, if you bomb bad enough where it takes the whole energy of the show
yeah.
down, then yeah, it's a problem, and you might see some consequences from it. But
for the most part, even if you bomb, the other guys are going to should be able to recover from it. Do just
yeah,
fine.
well, and they call it like eating the bullet or whatever.
Okay.
So that's half your job is like you're almost guaranteed to not do that great because for whatever a lot of it is that the audience has seen so many bad MCs, maybe. You know what I mean? So they automatically assume the headliner is great,
Yeah.
the middle guy's good, and you're just not going to be that good. So
Yeah.
unless you really bring the thunder,
And are you also doing this while people are like coming in, sitting down?
sitting down, getting their first drink and food orders is
Yeah.
a big thing, and
Yeah,
it's
that
weird
is a big
because
thing.
So
you're-
like, go ahead.
well, you can't tell. Another thing is the club, at least Hyenas, but I think most clubs, they don't want you to deal with hecklers as the MC, and not just hecklers, but like as the feature and especially as the headliner.
Yeah.
If somebody's just talking your whole set, you can stop and just be like, "Hey, am I interrupting something?" Whatever you want to say to this person. As the MC,
I love it.
They just want you to power through.
Yeah.
But I had been at a certain point doing it long enough to where I'm kind of like, I at least want to shoot somebody a glance if they're talking during my set. But a lot of times you can't tell if they're talking or just ordering food.
Yeah.
If they're being rude or just,
Yeah, you don't want to
know?
call them out because then you're like,
Yeah.
fuck, I'm just ordering food, man.
You're like, hey,
I
can
just
you
wanna-
keep it down? And then you realize it's the waitress's voice
Oh,
that you heard. You know what I mean?
It's like, I'm just repeating his order back, bro. Why you
So-
getting mad at me?
Yeah. So I hopefully, I mean, I'll still do damn near anything to get a good opportunity, but hopefully I'm done with that portion.
So when you said you could have gone down to San Antonio and MC there, is that a club you've played before, or would it be a new place?
Well, I was just given a hypothetical if I was offered to MC
Gotcha. Okay.
at a new club. Because everywhere I work now, I'm a feature.
Okay.
And so I kind of just want to make that it's all about kind of valuing yourself at a
Oh, for
certain
sure.
point. You know what I mean? If you go, hey, I just want to work there, I'll do anything. They're like, oh, this guy maybe sucks. But
Yeah.
if they go, hey, do you want to MC? And you'd be like, just call me when you need a feature. If you don't think I'm there yet, I'll wait. But I don't do that anymore. So that's kind of where I hope I'm at.
So now that I know you go with what's his name again?
William Lee Martin.
I was going to say
.com.
Will. I was so close. WilliamLeeMartin.com.
Uh-huh.
So when you go with him now, if you start, how do you go about start getting?
I love it.
I swear, I haven't drank
It's
that
all right.
many margaritas.
It's all right. Our editing staff will edit that out.
He's gonna be drunk too, man.
I know.
He's going to be drunk too.
He
It's
might-
going to happen
He
later.
might eat an edible as well. I don't
Oh
know.
shit.
Shit might get crazy in the studio, in the editing studio. I don't even remember what I was going to ask now.
Oh fuck.
Oh yeah. So, do you know how you would go about getting yourself booked at places? Do you want, or is that something you want to do?
That's something that every comic at my level wants to do,
Okay.
but it's nearly impossible. I don't know if it would be back in the day or if this is just a fantasy some people have, but you'd like to think you can just contact a club owner / booker and be like, hey, I'm really funny. Here's a clip of my stand-up. I'd really like to work at your club.
Yeah.
And that maybe worked in like 1989. It would be a VHS, whatever. But now there's so many comics, especially at my level,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, that, if a headliner doesn't bring you along or you don't know somebody who knows somebody, it's just damn near impossible to get booked somewhere. So that's a lot of the reason why I'm doing this crazy drive and, doing other stuff to make it to these clubs where I don't make a lot of money off the weekend when all is said and done because, if I sell enough T-shirts, then I can.
Okay, so you said you have merch. How do people buy your merch?
Well, it's not on my
it's
website,
not on the website yet.
but it will be. Hopefully, I'll have the koozies and the shirts on there within.
Oh yeah.
So-
I'll buy one.
Do you have someone who does your website, or do you do everything yourself?
Her name is Katie Gammill. She's a beautiful, lovely woman. She handles the website.
Can't always stand up at 10:30 at night. I mean,
Oh boy.
I'm sorry. I'll edit that out too.
She's gonna be like, "What's the name of the podcast you did today?" I'm like,
I don't remember.
I forget.
I forget, man.
Okay, so she does all your website stuff.
Well, we kind of do it together. My website at this point is basically just a calendar. It's got
Yeah.
links to
Yeah,
my
look
other
at today.
stuff,
Yeah.
but that's the main thing. Is I want to put like an embedded video on there that's a decent quality. That way, it plays something as soon as you open it up, and then I want the merch on there. But I just got the shirts, so
Yeah.
Nice.
So like with our,
so fucking get off my back about putting the merch on the website.
yeah, get
all
that
right?
shit done, man. We have fans that want your shit. Get
Hey,
it.
you know
Take
what?
it.
I'm
you
a
have,
fan of our own
You have-
podcast. and I still don't have a fucking shirt.
There
You
you
know what
go.
I mean?
You have
What's up with that?
You have
Yeah.
2 weeks to get your shit together because that's when this podcast is coming.
Oh
out.
yeah, you got 2 weeks. Yeah.
Now our website is so fucking simple, and I've done all of it.
Hey, but
But-
you know what? When you go to our website, you have to go down to the left-hand corner,
It's right side.
right side corner, and you have to hit night mode because if not, then you can't
Can't
fucking
read
see
shit.
it.
Because it's got that green Ford in the background,
Yeah.
and then so you get on there and you just
And
can't
all the
read
letters,
anything.
all the letters are white unless you hit night mode and they turn black.
That's hilarious.
And he's-
This episode is brought to you by Squarespace.
Listen.
I-
So
I-
when we first
That's
started
where we
doing
should
this,
upgrade too, but
when we first started doing this, Ricky made fun of it. He's like, "Yeah, you can go to the website. It doesn't give him it just
All
all
it
it gives
has-
is an email."
yeah, and that's
he-
all that was on there.
That's all that was on there, and I was like, "Stop belittling the fucking website. It's our website. Like, be proud
Right.
of it." And he's like, "No, it just has the email."
It's
And
all
it
it had
was-
on there.
and it was at the time until he had to upgrade because when we started producing and putting out Spotify,
We're putting out.
iTunes, we put out.
She looked happy.
Yeah, as soon as Elena's walking out the door,
Oh, hey.
that's like, hey, I put out. Dustin putting out.
Anyways, he had to upgrade the website. And then he's like, yeah, in order for it to actually look decent, you got to go to the right-hand corner and click night mode. I was like, well, that's kind of ghetto, but okay.
Yeah, and what's fucked? So it's very easy for
You
us
have to write that at the top of the
Yeah,
homepage.
exactly.
Oh,
Yes,
that's a good
You
idea.
should do that. Look at this guy.
I'm not really sure how, so give me that. I
I
don't want
just
to.
kept saying there's more to it than just the website. And he's like, there's not.
Well, now there is
There's not.
because I had to change the format so we could easily post our podcast every week. Mm-hmm. And now I can upload everything to one spot on our webpage, and it puts it out to all different platforms.
Nice. Yeah.
And I don't want to change something on the website to fuck that up. I just want to.
Yeah, that's a lot more work for Ricky.
Is
what that is.
I don't care about the website. If people want to, they can click on it. They can find our
Emails
episodes
on there.
I don't even think the email's on there anymore. We lost the
So-
email.
One feature it did have.
So we were at the brewery the other week, and we found this new guest. And we're like, hey, just go
where these
like
great
it.
margaritas came from.
Yes. We said, hey, go like it. So he went and liked it. And he's scrolling down, and it only went to episode 7. And we're like, what the fuck? Like, it's only episode 7, really?
Yeah,
Like,
because we
there's
told him the same.
obviously 7 more prior to that
Yeah.
that you need to listen to.
And we told him the same thing we tell everybody. Start at episode
Yeah,
4.
4. He's like, well, I can't find 4.
There's no 4.
Yeah. And so Ricky went back and looked. He's like, all right, I fixed that. He's like, and I found out how to look at all the analytics now on who's listening.
So before the only analytics I could look up was Spotify and iTunes. Mm-hmm. And then I found on our actual web. I mean, it's very simple. It's literally just a podcast. There's a tab that says podcast. You click on a link that says stats, and it tells you how many listens you've had completely for each episode, broken by the week, by the day, by the weekday.
And by which app people are using to listen to it from.
It kind of does. It tells you the percentage of which app they're listening to from.
Okay. Yeah.
So we're currently, when we started, we are at 30% iTunes, and now we're at about 10% on Apple. So
really?
everything else is outside of Apple besides 10%. So I think that's pretty neat because, I don't know.
Yeah.
And Spotify doesn't even show up. It just shows up as an other.
What?
Yeah, they don't want you to know what they got going on.
Yeah.
That's like Netflix. They keep everything.
So you're on Spotify, and you said y'all might go to YouTube as well. Do y'all play music and stuff or just talk?
We just talk.
Yeah.
We Colton has his little Casio keyboard
Okay.
set up, and when he gets a whim, he just clicks it on and plays some notes and sings something that's usually insulting to me.
So I know y'all aren't interested in having a guest on. What about if me and Dustin just come be a studio audience?
You want to come to the apartment?
Yeah, and we'll just hang out. And
No, we're
listen to y'all.
not. We're not opposed to
That'd be fun, right?
Yeah.
having a guest, and we could do a cross promotion thing.
There you
like
go.
we could.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, if we were going to do it, we should do it here. But we could do a, because our setup is not as nice. But
All of this can go there.
oh yeah, that could be the
Yeah.
thing too.
As long as he has all the padding. I mean, we got to have.
But we could record it and we could both put it out.
We could take those
we
phone
can
pads too.
take pads.
Dude, I love that idea. We just record with all 4 of us and both put it out one day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, y'all want to do 1 hour, so
Well, yeah.
it'd be an SNL light.
Yeah, we don't have any strict rules. We,
Yeah,
I
he's
mean,
I know. I'm just.
well,
I'm
but we also don't even know what the hell. Also, kind of the dynamic is I let Colton steer kind of everything,
yeah.
and then I just kind of react to what he's doing. I don't know if it's hard work for him, but it's a ton of fun for me.
So it's
That's all that counts.
No, it's not, because I feel like that's kind of how me and Dustin do it.
I mean, it
Yeah,
is,
I'm Dustin though, right?
Yeah.
but you're a lot funnier.
So and
Colton's a lot funnier.
What's really fucked up is
Okay.
like Dustin will start, even he'll react to me, and then I'll just interrupt his reaction.
Well,
and
all the
start bringing-
goddamn time, even when we started this thing. I mean, literally, we started this thing. Hey, you want to introduce our guest? Okay, so
first
do you
of
go
all-
by Steve or Steve O or what? That's just exactly how it goes.
I'm not good at not interrupting you. I don't know why. It's 100%
I do.
a flaw
It's
of mine.
because you don't respect him.
I've no
All
respect
right,
for
moving
you,
on.
man.
Jesus. We're cousins. Hey, I'll tell you this. I was driving his drunk ass around when I was 17 years old. I couldn't even drink yet.
Yeah.
I was driving his drunk ass around, telling him stories about the shit that he did. And he was like, really?
Oh man, he told me like
Oh yeah, some good stories.
Some very good stories, and I was shocked.
Someone
Like,
he's
that happened.
Damn it!
Son
I
of a
wish I
bitch.
would have remembered that.
Have you ever
He's
been
like,
to-
I could have been telling that story. I had known.
Yes.
And now I never tell that story to anybody because I don't actually remember. I was like, Dustin could just be fucking with me.
I
Waiting
ain't
for me to
fucking
tell
with
that
him.
story.
I'll
to
tell the story
somebody
right
else.
now.
Tell it.
All right. So we were at Chimmy's.
You know Chimmy's?
You know Chimmy's downtown Fort Worth.
Yes.
West
South
Speaking of
Side
which,
area.
hold on. I
So
got a
hold
story
on,
about
real
Chimmy's.
quick.
Go ahead.
What's the age difference?
10
years.
years.
Okay.
Yeah. So he was my age whenever I was driving his drunk ass.
A little
around.
over 10 years.
Yeah.
I was born in 81. He's born in 92.
Yep. So we were at Chimmy's on Saturday. All right.
Was it a Saturday or two? Oh, you're talking about this story.
This last Saturday. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. No, I want to tell a
Okay.
recent story for the previous story.
Gotcha.
So
Preface.
yes. So the bathrooms, the men and women's, or so men's on the right hand side, women's on the left, right?
It wasn't always like that.
Let me get to that.
Okay.
And we go to Chimmy's fairly often, and so Elena was with me, and I noticed they changed up the soda machines, and I was like, well, that's weird because they've always been in a certain spot, and they changed them up. I was like, okay, well they did a little something remodel, so I didn't even look at the restrooms. So we're sitting there. She's like, I gotta go to the bathroom. Okay. She walks up. She starts heading to the bathroom. She literally runs into a fucking wall.
Okay.
Because they put up a wall
On the women's side.
on the women's side.
So they did this to the men's side like 5 years ago.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know
Because
that.
if you remember, you used to walk straight into both of them.
Okay.
And so, the men's used to be on the left. You walk straight into it. The women's was on the right. They walked straight into it.
Okay.
Then they remodeled it to where the women's bathroom came out to the outside, right across from where you pick up your food and
Right.
like the condiment stand, whatever they call it.
Yeah.
And they turned to a men's restroom, and you had to come in, go make the corner, and go in. And the women's was where the old men's used to be.
So they just changed it again. They knocked out the wall. Men's and women's are right next to each other. You go in the same hallway, and you go whichever way. But it was fucking hilarious.
Wait,
You
hold
know,
on. There's a hallway now.
now they knocked out a wall basically.
So I'm picturing where they're at. So they knocked out that entire wall.
They knocked out the wall. Yeah.
It sounded like this.
I will edit that out.
They knocked it out. So men and women's are right next to each other now. You go down the one hallway. There's a closet at the end, and they made it look like. I mean, you can't even tell where the women's entrance used to be. You can't even fucking tell it. And they put a booth right there in front of it too. Oh, but she ran into the wall. Anyways, so
I'm
back
like,
to the
hold
original
on.
tour.
She ran into the wall.
Oh, she said she was looking down, and she was so used to going there.
Yeah, you're just second nature.
Yeah.
Just
She's like, yeah, there was a couple people that laughed at me because I literally was like, oh fuck.
Well, look, I've brought this up before. I've done that at Chili's because
Yeah.
I used to bartend at the Chili's in Mansfield, and then we had a bartending competition. I think they called it Star Bar at the Chili's in Burleson. So I was here, and the restaurants are almost identical. The bar's a little bit different, but the family side of the restaurant is
the
identical.
layout is the same.
Except the women's and men's restroom are swapped. So I'm over there in my complete Chili's bartender uniform, and I walk straight in the women's room. I was like, this is not right. And there's women in there looking at me like, what are you doing? Are you here to clean this place? Like, I was planning on peeing, but I think I'm in the wrong spot.
Pretty sure I'm in the wrong spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that second where you go, huh? No urinals.
Yeah.
And then you go, oh shit!
Well, see, I didn't have time to even look at the urinals. There was
Well,
ladies
there
in
was
there,
no urinals.
like washing their hands.
You're like, no urinals, and there's a lot of women in this. men's room.
There's more women than there normally are in the men's restroom. I know that for
By
sure.
100%.
So back to the Ricky story. So he's fucked up, obviously. Dr. Pepper shootouts. That's
Do you
a
know what a
big
Dr.
Jimmy
Pepper
thing.
shootout is?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Wait, so is this
Thank
the
God.
recent one, or is this?
No,
No,
no. This is like 10 plus years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, this is 10 years ago, at least.
I was driving his drunk ass around. I didn't drink. Obviously, I couldn't drink. They wouldn't serve my ass. He was sneaking me into bars. Well,
I wasn't
hold on.
sneaking you in.
You're right. He wasn't sneaking me in.
You were going.
We were going early before they started checking
Yeah.
IDs, and he told the bartender, "Hey, he's underage, but he's not going to drink." And I didn't because I hated
Yeah.
beer. I didn't like to drink. I
He
just
just like
wanted to
hanging
hang
out with. Yeah.
yeah.
and At this particular time, Troy wasn't there that time. That's
No.
another story.
Yeah, no, not that time. So we were at Chimmy's. So he's doing Dr. Pepper shootouts with a particular person.
We had Cadillac margaritas.
Oh.
I don't know how familiar you are with Chimmy's.
I'm familiar enough to know the Dr. Pepper Shootout.
Okay. They also have
Not the Cadillac Margarita. They
I
got
think
Cadillac,
a lot of
Lexus.
places
They
have
got
that.
Yeah.
yeah.
No, they have different margaritas named after different cars. One was a Cadillac. And
Oh yeah, they love the Cadillacs.
Yeah.
I've never had one, honestly.
You still haven't to this
Still
day?
have it to this day.
You need.
I probably
I
should.
think they're good. I don't know. They seem good that day.
Two
So
Cadillac margaritas.
So Ricky said he was going to walk this chick out. All right. So he's walking this chick out.
And she's a friend of ours.
Yeah,
she
she's
was
a
there
friend.
with us. It's not
Yeah.
like I just randomly hitting on this random chick.
Yeah. And so
I think she was a bartender at
she was
the
a
Flying
bartender.
Saucer.
She was. She's bartender at the Flying Saucer. And so I was like, all right, well, I'm going to go get the truck and I'll meet you over there. So I get the truck. I'm driving down the alleyway. I park. I see
This
her
girl-
lights on.
This girl was gorgeous. Like
You said bartender at Flying Saucer. I assumed.
It's a long time. The old Flying
old
Saucer.
Flying Saucer.
Not the new one.
Well, yeah, fuck the new one. Dudes work at the new
There
one. What are
you
you
go.
fucking
There you
talking
go.
about?
Oh, this guy. Look,
and
he
she
already knows.
and she was the
This
bartender.
is a 2001 Flying Saucer.
Yes.
Oh, this guy.
Ish.
When it's
It
still
was.
in that shitty brick building.
Yes.
Yes. No, it was a good building. I love that.
And-
I won't go to the Flying Saucer now.
And she worked at the upstairs super secret bar. So like she didn't really work out in the downstairs bar.
That's the champagne room of Flying Saucer.
We just called it a super secret bar.
So I go pick up Ricky. It was like 5 minutes. I'm sitting there waiting. He comes out of her vehicle, passenger side, gets in the truck, and he's sitting there drunk as fuck. And he's like, I just made out with her. And I was like,
Should we give her a nickname?
yeah, Jane.
Okay. That works.
Okay.
I just fucking made out with Jane,
Yeah.
bro.
He's like, I just made out with Jane. I was like, nice.
Well, and like the way Dustin
Because obviously
described it-
I'm like, I'm young. And
Yeah.
this, to
And
me,
you
this,
look up to him.
right.
So you're like,
well,
dude,
and this
guy-
chick is like older than me. You know what I mean? Like, was she good looking? Yes. However, she was like real old to me because I was 18. You know what I mean? I'm not saying she wasn't.
No, I
good
get what
looking.
you're
You were like
I'm
this
just saying,
cougar, and
it's-
she's like
I'm
31.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
she was decent looking girl. I'm like, fuck yeah, like good for you. And
like
so
I
then
feel like you've told me before that you noticed like the windows and stuff were fogged up, like when you pulled up to the her
yeah,
car.
no, yeah. You obviously y'all walked out. Y'all were close to the door. You walked out. It took me a minute to get the truck. I'm literally still sitting there 5 minutes. And
You
he
know the
fucking
Chimmy's parking
rolls
lot.
out.
It's not a big parking
well,
lot, so it's not like
before at that point in time, you drove through the two buildings. Remember?
Yeah.
yeah. There was two buildings side by side before they knocked the one down. That was back in the day.
yeah.
And so he said that, and I was like, well, sweet, cool deal. So I dropped him off at the house. Like, I don't know, was it a couple days later? I texted him,
Yeah.
and I don't even know what brought it up, to be honest, because it wasn't like anything. I was like, cool, you did what you did. And I said something about it, and he's like, hold on,
I was
wait.
like, wait, what?
What? And I was like, yeah, bro. You fucking were in her car forever, and then you came out and you said you fucking made out with her. He's like, fuck, that's cool as shit. He's like, I don't remember any of that.
Fucking sucks that I don't remember this at all.
Because never happened again.
Never happened again. It was a one night thing. I was so fucked up. I'm pretty sure she was fucked up too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Y'all were both fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one that got away.
Did she get away?
No.
Like the goal was to not ruin the bar.
Well, yeah. I mean, it got ruined because it shut down.
It ended up getting ruined.
It moved locations. I don't know how ruined you get.
Well, I meant it in a different type of way.
Okay.
But yeah, like me, the other few guys that we went up there with always had a rule: don't ruin the bar.
Yeah.
And then that one guy ruined the bar.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll ruin a bar. Back when I was single, I'll ruin a friendship.
Oh, shit.
Looking back at it, I should have ruined the bar. And even talking to our other buddies, like, I should have ruined the bar. I was like, yeah, absolutely, you should have ruined the
That's
bar.
kind of a special bar. Back in those days,
Yes.
if you liked craft beer,
You're
it wasn't
right,
like
you're
it
right.
is now, where
It's
you
not.
can get microbrew.
And then, especially with the super secret upstairs
Oh,
bar
he
that
had-
nobody knew about.
He had something micro, just not the brew.
Oh, I definitely had the micro. We talked about that earlier. Well, you talked about yours, I think. Did we
No,
talk-
those good times.
But yeah, Dustin used to drive my drunk ass around.
Yeah. I was a spoiled ass kid in high school, man.
And we used to play 42.
Oh, man. You
throw
ever play
bones?
42?
Oh, now that you say that, it rings a bell. But no, I couldn't play.
Do you play spades?
Back when I would do either, I was terrible at dominoes and good at spades.
Okay.
I played spades in jail a lot, but something about
Whoa,
the math.
whoa.
of the-
Hold on. Jail.
That's why I haven't seen him since we were 9 years old.
You
No,
went to
not-
He
jail.
blamed it on me.
Hold on.
I
You
tried
went
to
to jail?
deflect that. Way back in the day, yeah, I did some just little county jail dumb shit.
Like
but
for how long? Like a month? 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years? 12?
Hold on. I know the exact.
Oh, here we go.
The longest time I was ever incarcerated was 104 days.
Damn.
So
That's a
almost-
long ass fucking
It's
time.
like 3.5 months.
Yeah, and then I would
That's
do
still a long
little.
time.
It was forever ago, but the gist of it was I would be on probation and I would fuck up,
Yeah.
whatever, get reinstated, something, whatever. I don't know if you've noticed this, but I'm a white man, so I did
me
shit
too.
that would have gotten my probation.
This is the first time I'm learning about
Yeah,
this.
me too. Yeah.
This is the first I've learned that you're a white man. I was just assuming you were a neutral colored, neutral gender person.
Well, if I'd have told you this story, you could have figured it
I
out.
thought you were a they them.
I am a they them.
Dude, your fucking joke about Aunt Sheila.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I have a they them.
Yeah,
joke.
no. I actually Ricky sent that to me and I watched it. Yeah.
I was listening to it, I was like, where's he going to go with this? And then when you hit that punchline, I was like, that is fucking genius. That is so fucking great.
That's a joke that I know is like too long of a walk to get to the big laugh, but I like it enough. To,
I think the
So take
long
the
walk
walk.
is what makes the punchline so great.
Yeah. Take the fucking walk.
Because you're getting there, and like the first time I started listening to it, or when I was watching it, I was like, "Where's he going with this?" I couldn't figure it out because I tried to figure out where.
yeah.
And then when you came up with the very final punchline was the best. When it's like she comes out saying she's Thela and Thela and yeah,
Baylor.
Yeah.
I think
Actually, shout out to Will Burnson, another DFW comic. He gave me that tag.
Oh, did he?
And that ends up not being the biggest laugh, but it's why I kept the joke around. Because
Okay.
it's one of those things we were talking about open mics. Is I wasn't sure if it was working. And I was like, but that fucking Thela thing that Will came up with is so funny that
Yes.
it makes the rest of it work. And now when I do it on stage, that gets like, it's like almost a weird way to end it because people are like, ha ha ha.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I figured that.
Or
was
maybe I'm
a
just
huge-
traumatized from this last weekend of these Ohio people.
Oh yeah.
Fucking-
Don't
Fucking-
count on the Ohio.
Goddamn Ohio!
You gotta come
Get
back
your
to
shit
Texas.
together,
Yeah,
Ohio.
you gotta come back to Texas. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is that gentleman that I tour with that
Yeah.
takes me on the road with him has a very
William.
specific demographic
Okay.
to the crowds that he brings. And he has a ton of followers on Instagram and Facebook. So that's why we're able to do those theaters and stuff. He can just promote it himself wherever he goes. It could just be an empty room. He can fill it with people. But they're all white. I know you guys don't notice that.
I don't see color.
They're all older, white, country-ish people.
That's all right.
And so I go, hey, guys, this is going to be a joke about the vaccine and non-binary gender pronouns. And they're like, oh, okay, well, we need to pee anyways. You know? So,
yeah, that's when they take their break.
No.
That's their intermission.
yeah,
Damn.
my whole set is when they're, oh, shit, we shouldn't have peed before we got here. This fucking liberal.
No. No.
The stuff you have, the stuff you have on TikTok, do you still do that on stage? I think there's two bits that you have: your wedding ring and that one, Aunt Sheila.
Yeah, the wedding ring I do whenever I feel like it. But yeah.
I think that one's great.
Yeah, I
That-
saw that one too. That was good.
I think me and you stayed up on Sunday,
Oh, we did. Yeah,
and
you're
I
right.
was showing you everything he has,
Yeah.
or what he has on TikTok. I haven't Instagram stalked you yet.
That's the same shit. Yeah.
Well, I know that there's just more on Instagram, and I'm excited to actually go through that and start watching some of the stuff. You have
Yeah,
on
I mean,
Instagram.
I've got pretty much all the stuff that I'll do is on YouTube, but I really, the last like couple months, I've
Yeah.
been making an effort. I started doing TikTok and I'm trying to put stuff out on Instagram, but it's tough to have time to do all the
for sure.
Oh, yeah.
captions
Well,
and all the shit.
You just said you hadn't even unpacked all your shit yet.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, my life sucks, guys, is what I'm getting at. It's tough to...
Yeah, your dream is to. I wish I had a Blackstone. I could wake up every morning and cook breakfast
Oh,
instead of
God
just sleep.
damn it.
All right, it's decent. It's a decent one.
So I really have you seen the Blackstone that also has an air fryer as part of it
I
as
have
well?
not seen that.
Dude, it's about
I
the
have
same
not
size
seen
as
that.
yours, the 36-inch Blackstone.
Okay, well, don't size mine up.
Okay,
Fuck.
that's the biggest one you can get. What?
No, it's not. Mine is not the biggest one you can get. It's literally 2 burners.
Is that not 36 inches?
No, that is not ADA. No.
when you just said fuck, that was like the highest octave I've ever heard you speak in.
I know you'll pull it.
Oh yeah.
I know you will.
We're gonna hear
That's
that
the best
again.
fuck.
What's that? Send me a text with
No.
4311.
No, you can listen to it. I'm not gonna send you no fucking text. We do though. Like if I'm like, oh, that was a good one. He's like, yeah, send me this, and I'll send it to him. Not that one though.
Yeah, you do the legwork.
They ain't. Yeah,
We like
they
to-
ain't no Beth.
We like to
Oh
pull.
fucking shit, Marty. I don't know shit about fuck.
We like to have a fun tagline at the very end of our episodes where it's just one of us.
Oh, Ricky
randomly
does
saying
great.
shit.
Yeah, he listens to it. And he's like, well, that's fucking good. He'll just put it at the very end. It's like literally the last 2 seconds, and it's like, I really want to listen to that again. And I have to rewind the whole episode. That's probably why we get so many listens. People are rewinding the
Yeah.
whole episode
They
just
start it
listen
over
to
and
2
then
seconds.
fast forward
Yeah,
to the end
it's
again.
like.
Extra views,
Yeah.
baby. That's where the money's
Well,
gonna come from.
So with the iTunes thing, he can look and see what percentage everybody's listening to.
The
And
average
Yeah, the
consumption.
average consumption. And it's like, what, 125 or something?
Most
like
of
that?
ours are over 100% average consumption.
that
People are
means that-
listening and rewinding, listening more.
Wow.
That's
I thought you were gonna say the opposite, and I don't mean that in a mean
No,
way.
no,
I just mean
that's
that
what
of how people kind of are about
That's
things.
what I would think too, because when you see how many listens we have on iTunes, it's like, are these people? You always look at my hands when I start doing that, and I feel bad, because I'm always moving my hands. But I feel like every time I'm there, you're like, "What the fuck are you doing? Are you threatening me?"
I'm following along with what
Oh,
you're
he's
saying.
flipping you off the whole time.
The words are coming from here, not here. Look at my face, man. Don't look down.
Yeah, don't look at his
my
tits.
eyes are up here,
All
Steve.
Fuck, don't look at his tits.
You can look at my tits. I'll take my shirt off.
Couldn't.
No.
You don't want to see me without a shirt
Sure,
on?
sure.
You're like, hey, it worked
It's
with
just
Russ
real cold
Martin.
outside.
This is gonna catapult the podcast.
This is going to catapult. Man, I'm a little sad you're not a Russ Martin fan, though. I am.
But
I mean-
he's kind of right. If you don't,
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
There's times where, especially
Well,
the
also
later,
this
the
was
later
in
end.
2007. I didn't even
Well,
know
I
where
didn't-
he like went to.
Well,
do...
shit, I didn't start listening until 2015, so I felt like an asshole.
Well, there you go. Well, it sucked in 2007. No, I just. Yeah, I was like, I get that this is funny, and the whole dead air thing. Like, I was like, dude, if I was privy to like this joke,
Yeah.
but
I
And
get it.
So that's kind of what's great about Russ, though. He did that dead air so well. But like
did.
you said, you had to be a common listener to know. And now Dan O'Malley does kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
But he doesn't pull it
Hey,
off
we love you,
quite
Dan.
as well.
Hey, come on.
Dude, when I had my radio show at 105.3, Dan was one of our board ops.
Yeah.
Like, he was actually there for our show
That's badass.
just sometimes. And when him and another guy, I'm trying to think who the other guy's name was, they did a weekend show, and they would have me call in for random shit. That was just bullshit. I was like, that's one thing I loved about when I first started doing rap, and this happens.
be
Like, all right,
outraged
done.
about something.
Yeah, be mad
or-
about this.
Yeah.
I think one time there's like, hey, call in and say you're getting married next week, but you just found out that your fiance slept with your best friend. I was like, all right, I can do that. Golly, yeah. None of our radio's fake. All of our stuff is actually real.
Well, yeah, because we edit all that shit out, right?
We edit all the fake shit out. I love your idea of that's the show name for this one. I'll edit that out.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you.
That's
if
kind of
you-
great. That's kind of great, right? I feel like we've said it a lot tonight.
Well, yeah. Well,
Or
not
today.
tonight, but
Well, in the
even
past, for sure.
Well, even the previous episode you're probably about to post hasn't posted yet.
Well, I feel like we're gonna be searching for it now.
Searching for what edits I do.
Well, just a chance to say it.
I've already done it. Like I've said it way too many times. Like I'll edit that out. I was gonna say something to you, but I forgot what it was.
Yeah, and I was gonna say something to you. Now
you forgot?
Yeah.
It's like you're sucking our memories out of our
Yeah.
brains.
What the fuck's up with that?
Or
Gotcha.
ideas. You're stealing our ideas. He's literally taking our ideas
Yeah.
because
he's like I was on a podcast before this.
he's like,
This one's way
y'all don't
better.
recognize that I'm white.
one's
I'm gonna
way
steal
better.
your fucking brain. So go back to that. I had a friend. So I have a traveling kickball team. Not anymore, but I used to have a traveling kickball team. We'd go play tournaments all over the place.
What?
Yes.
Oh, I'm telling you.
You mean to say softball? But go
no,
ahead.
No.
it was kickball for sure.
Hockey.
If you listen to
Uh,
episode,
Was that a fucking? Oh, that was.
oh, it's
No,
fucking
I
rednecks.
Fucking rednecks.
They're firing it up.
No. So yeah, I've done kickball for the last probably 12 years.
Like coached at elementary school.
No,
No,
this is adult.
this is
kickball.
adults.
Adult kickball.
It's
I'm
all
getting
about
confused
drinking.
again.
It's all about drinking.
It's all about drinking. It can get very competitive, and so we started a traveling kickball team. I've had multiple traveling kickball
But
teams.
you play against elementary school kids.
No. We play against people who have
Other adult men.
Yes.
and women.
Well, women.
It's co-ed. It's basically people who lost their dream of being a successful softball player. It's like, well, fuck it, I'll play kickball. So I organized all these shitty athletes together to play kickball.
I hope they don't listen. God bless.
They don't give a fuck. They know
We
who they
literally
are.
had.
Yeah, they know who they are.
We literally had
We literally found them at bars
Yeah.
in the middle of a Tuesday night.
3 of our players
had
were D1
nothing else to
football
do.
players. We had players that.
Hold on, is that like a P1?
Have you ever heard of tank? No, D1 is a college.
Oh, it's actually a thing.
Yeah.
Not P1.
It's like your top level of college play.
Okay. All right.
So we've also there's. Do you know? Well, y'all aren't sports people, so I don't know why I bring this shit up. Where the fuck was I going? Okay, so one of our players, it was a guy who was born in Africa. His mom taught English in Africa, then he moved here, and he ended up on my kickball team. Fuck you, Ricky. He's not gay. He's a guy. He might be gay. I don't know.
I think
don't
he said he
think
was a
is.
gay dog, didn't
Yeah. Our gay dog.
My gay dog, Steven.
he? It was bad enough it was co-ed.
Yeah.
Now you're letting animals of every sexual orientation on the team.
So
Jesus
Steven,
Christ.
who
It was a
is
they them. That
yeah,
was,
so Steven, who is literally a giant black man, like just ripped, like
Okay.
like a ripped, huge, like muscles all over him.
Yeah, that escalated quickly.
I got
okay.
I got a text from a friend a few years ago saying, "Hey, the big black guy that played kickball with us, do you know if he's single?" I think she might have said his name, Steven. I don't remember. And my response directly was like, "I don't see color." And then we have a little group me with our entire team, so I sent it to them, and I got the little laughy emoji from Steven's like, "I would not expect a different answer from you than that. That is absolutely perfect." And my other buddy Drew was like, I could actually hear Ricky saying that out loud as soon as he got that text. Like, I don't see color.
Hey, like, I don't know. Can you describe his personality? What color were his eyes?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Something that I would know.
And he's a beautiful man for a gay dog, anyways. But he's a beautiful man. Golly, it's funny. We ended up getting another giant black guy on our team.
Oh God.
And I remember I was in Scottsdale.
You're making
at-
Dustin so uncomfortable.
I know. I'm good.
Do you remember?
No. I think he's making you
hold on.
uncomfortable.
Do you remember your Asian talk earlier? Oh shit! I didn't know. I didn't mean to draw guns. My bad.
Yeah, you definitely drew guns.
That's why Steve-O kept watching me every time I'd point. He's like, "Was that a gun? Is that a gun?" Hey, Steve-O, when's the last time you've been finger banged?
Not by myself, obviously.
Bang.
Oh,
Oh shit.
All right, let's
yeah. Let's edit that.
we'll edit that one out. So yeah, that my silly humor of I don't see color, but it's not humor. I truly don't. But my silly humor, if it was humor, goes back way before these last 20 minutes of talking about it.
I believe you.
I'm
me
glad
too.
you believe me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, me either.
You don't believe me?
No,
he
I believe
believes
you.
me.
I said I believe you.
You said to me,
No, I said I don't believe color.
you don't believe color.
And color.
Wow.
Jesus.
Hashtag believe color.
You don't
man.
believe color?
No.
Gay dog Steven is not going to like to hear this. Let's go. Let's talk about it when I made out with Jane or Jen or whatever the fuck her name was.
Jen.
All right. When
It was Jane. She doesn't remember it either.
her real name's Jen. She definitely doesn't remember it.
Oh. Oh. When you listen back, you'll hear about
I'll
his
edit that
dog
out.
who pissed the bed, which was actually his girlfriend that he named this dog after.
First of all,
Named Meredith.
the dog that peed. Hold on. The dog didn't pee the bed.
You're right. The girl did.
The dog was named Meredith after the girl that peed the bed.
Yeah.
But I never want to say her name, so I didn't want anybody to know who it was.
But he just said,
I just, the
He
whore
said-
dog that was in my backyard, I named after her. So my dog named Meredith was named after the girl that peed my bed. But I don't want to know. I don't want anyone to know her identity. I don't want to put negative connotations in her fucking name.
Well, I don't hear names.
yeah.
And you could be talking about any dog,
That's
any
it.
woman.
Hit it. Producer, where you at?
All right. Do you want to promote any upcoming shows? Do you have any local shows coming up?
I really don't.
You don't?
Nope.
Do you ever have local shows, or is those are the ones you just kind of jump out and do?
Well, it's just the hyenas, right?
Yeah, I did my 2
2 weeks.
hyena. I
I
did
did my
one
2
Fort
weeks
Worth
in
and one
hyena.
Dallas. So
Okay.
I won't have another one for a few months.
All right, but you do plan them out. It's not just spontaneous every time.
Yeah, I'll post about them. Those are the ones I'll post about the most because people in DFW will actually come out.
Yeah.
I don't have any people in Dayton, Ohio, that really would come to a show if I posted about it. But
Well, I think you have at least 6 of us coming to your ones in Colorado.
fuck yeah.
And like I said, we're doing a giveaway for. Go ahead, Dustin.
No, I was just gonna say all those people in Belgium, they're gonna show up.
Okay, so for the
It's
giveaway,
in Denver. That's a destination.
that is a destination. You go skiing
saying.
at this.
They're
time
gonna
of
be
year, I
at-
think.
Go skiing.
They're gonna go to the Comedy Works instead of the
That's what I'm
Improv and be
They're
like,
gonna go to the wrong
"Where's
place."
Steve Gammill?"
We came to see Steve Gammill. I was like, oh, wrong place, bro. So, we have people all over the country listening to this,
That's what I'm saying.
all over the world. So, do you have any other shows you want to promote real quick?
Yes. I'm going to be in Oklahoma City, Tulsa,
yeah.
Oklahoma, Wichita, Kansas, Little Rock, Arkansas, Naples and Palm Beach, Florida, and
Denver, Colorado.
Denver, and I think that's it.
Okay, so, and you can go to Steve Gammill. That's,
Gammill.
first of all, you have to say Steve. So, Steve. Then,
If you don't know how to spell Steve, don't come to my fucking show.
what if they spelled it Stephe?
If you want to go see Steffi, she's actually at the Comedy Works. And she's hilarious. I recommend it. But
I thought she was a cunt, but whatever.
yeah.
All right, stevegammill.com. Find his shows coming up. If you want to travel and see him, that'd be awesome. If anybody's in Denver listening to this, hit us up at simsandleon@gmail.com.
SIMSANDLEON@gmail.com.
And you can also get all this information at your website, Steve Gammill, STEVEGAMMILL.com. Oh, I nailed it. I can't get mine right, but I got yours.
No shit.
Find him on Instagram. Find him on, what else are you on?
Just
YouTube.
find me on Instagram, for
Just
Christ's sake.
Do a
TikTok?
Google.
You do TikTok?
Yeah.
What was that?
I don't know. Probably the same thing. At
It's
Steve
on his
Gammill.
It's on his Instagram.
You can find us on Instagram or TikTok.
You can find us on all of it.
Yeah.
Except
You can
Snapchat.
find us at just do a Google search of Steve Gammill and then a Google search of
SNL Boys.
Sims and Leon,
Sims and
or
Leon.
the SNL Boys with a Z,
With a Z.
and you can find us wherever you get your podcast.
That's right.
Thanks, fellas.
Hey, thanks for coming in, man. That was fun.
Hell yeah, that was fucking fun.
Want another-
SNL_boys with a Z. Snap TikTok. You want our margarita?
I think I might switch to beer.
Oh, he's switching to beer.